Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream. I hope we're all doing good. I enjoy this. This is my release at the start of streams, when I get to say, hello, everybody, and welcome, like in that horrible, irritating, classic YouTuber way. I really like, that's my release, because I don't do it on the main channel anymore, because I hate it. But I've got it ingrained in me to speak that way. So yeah, I get to have that big little outburst there, because it doesn't matter, because nobody's watching early on streams anyway. Those were a lot of hellos. We could do more. Hello, welcome to a Guild Wars 2 video. It's your boy, Wooden Potatoes. Welcome. We got to go really high-pitched and obnoxious. It'll be great. I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. Having a good day. I hope you guys all are as well. 176 nobodies. 100. I shouldn't say it's nobodies watching, should I? That's offensive to everyone else on the scene. 176 is, compared to later on the stream, it's nothing. Anyway, hello, and certainly a video. Anyway, this is all humble, braggy, gross territory that I don't want to be in. How's it going, everybody? Considering what you said about Spud pending invitations auto-deleting, how long after sending the mail should I pester you? RTX777. I only have 5 mails right now, so if you send me a mail right now, you are guaranteed it will go through, and at the end of the stream I'll process them, and you should get in at that point. This is like watching Play School again? Play School? What do you mean Play School? What, because I sound like a kids' TV show presenter? He gone get spammed? Maybe. I mean, I got spammed so heavily. If you guys don't know, there's a mechanic in Guild Wars 2 most people won't know about. But if you get like 30, 40 mails in your inbox, all stacked up together, you can only see 10, and then there's like a buffer of like another 20 or something. But after that amount of mails, if someone continues, if anyone tries to send that account more mails, they get instantly reversed back to the source. So for a period of time yesterday, I'd been spammed so heavily that was going on, and people were trying to join the Spud Club too, and their mails were instantly being returned to them. I would just say, if you're here and that happened to you, resend, and then it should go through now, because my mail is empty. Yeah, it's like a void bounce. No, not really. A void bounce? How much do I need to donate to make you say it's your boy WP every video? Oh god, dude, a lot of money. I would hate that. I would actually... The closest I've come to that is an April Fool's video. And again, no rudeness to anyone you guys watch or anyone who runs a channel where they open it by saying, it's your boy. But that's not me, let me just tell you. So, by the way, guys, you know this shitty mic that I've been super non-specific about why I've had to have it this way? I did some intermittent maintenance that might be able to fix it for the meantime. So, are you ready? Tell me if you guys like this. Alright, here we go. We're going to change the microphone. Are you ready? Right. Hello? That's a different microphone. So, does this sound better or worse? You guys can tell me, does this sound better or worse? It's up to you. It's ya veggie. This is still not a great mic, but this one probably is a bit better. There you go. It's better. It's deeper. All right, fine. We'll do it this way then. There you go. Different, about the same, better. Jesus. Anyone who said it's about the same when you've got hundreds of other people around you saying better, I would seriously suggest you check either your ears or your speaker setup. Better, but it's not as good as your sexy voice. You still sound like a Brit, so is that what is the suggestion? It's not very good. I'm getting all these subs. Thank you very much, Crass Monkey. Oh, was that the one? I think someone else subbed earlier as well. Oh, that is so smooth. Well, there you go. Anyway, this is the MK4 I got sent from Sennheiser. So more Sennheiser shilling. Previously, you were on the headset, and now you've got the MK4. Man, you know, I'm a greedy man. Whenever I think about that Sennheiser thing, do you look at how much I've hyped it up and genuinely, legitimately sold out based on that, and for how long? But I can feel I'm a genuinely greedy man, because I'd love to get more opportunities like that. Anyway, I've just posted a YouTube video. We will advertise today, because what we're going to be doing is a bit of episode 6. I've also got a lovely bottle here of premium Kopparberg cider with raspberry. And I just finished a mixed berries one, which was alcohol-free, but this one's 4%. And it's delicious. This is definitely... Kopparberg is very quickly becoming my favourite brand of, like, cheap, easily available cider. Long shot, but WP, did you see my donation from yesterday? I just wanted to know. Oh, gosh, I'm really sorry if I didn't. Hollyan? Hollyan, I'm not sure. Maybe I did miss your donation. Let's have a look, my friend. Crass, thanks for the sub. Atrophy, thanks for the sub.
Mina, thanks for the sub. Peter in space. What else we got? Morrow Crow. Tyrannix. Yeah, if it was T-Maker Jason. Oh, Death Reaper? Did I miss you, Death Reaper? New sub is half price. No, I got Death Reaper yesterday. Oh, no, Holly. Holly there, right? Oh, that was ages ago, dude. Hey, WP, you just mentioned joining Spud Club 2. What about if you work full-time shifts and you come home to sleep and this happens several days? Will you be deemed inactive and kick? Just me slightly fearful of joining only to be booted. We don't kick in a matter of days. We kick... If you're a sprout, which means you've never done fuck all for the guild, except join it. If you're or generally speaking, not that all sprouts are hated or anything, but if you're a sprout, you get less tolerance. But even sprouts get like... I mean, we've had time... to be honest with you, we have had times where if you're inactive for like 3 days, that's it, you're out. We have had that in the past. I'm not quite sure how it will work in a double branch scenario where we can get 1,000 people in. I don't know. The GMs and I actually need to talk about that quite majorly. And I would like to do that. And it's not their fault or anything. It's probably mine, if anything. But I'd really like to hammer out, this is how long you get as a sprout. This is how long you get as a spud. This is how long you get as an ultra spud. And that's the end of it. I like that idea. We've got to figure that out. But then the other thing, and then broadcast that to the greater community. But then the other thing as well is the new branch doesn't even have a sprout/spud distinction at the moment. So, yeah. Anyway. What's my Guild Wars 2 account name? You have a present for me. My Guild Wars 2 account name is named Baradin3164. B-A-R-R. Baradin, with 2 R's basically. 3164. And if you want to send me a present via mail, first you should understand I only accept donations for the guild, not personal donations, unless it's something really weird. Like when someone sent us... What was that donation? Oh, I did one on the stream at some point. I did accept something. Anyway, it would have to be really weird. And also, you get in quick because my mails are capping very fast. You sent the 80 to 70 guild worth skin. I guess I'll see you in the new guild, said Royal. All right, yeah, I'm not gonna. This is not gonna be me going through mails all stream. That's boring. People don't want to watch that. So just a word of warning there, guys. I'm sorry that if you don't try and send me mails and expect all your messages to get on there because I'm not gonna go through them. Look, we got chat. Your messages are right here on stream anyway. Just type away. WP, any spot in Spud Club 2 players without money because they are making Nevermore? No. Nobody gets in for free. And I get this so often. I don't know. Listen, can we please? I'm gonna do that Reddit thing and say, can we please talk about something? Guild Wars 2 community. Can we please? I get so many, I'm being ironic right now, but I get so many messages, right? Where people say to me, oh, I could only send you like 10 ectos, which is like, what? 3 gold, something, maybe a little bit. It's basically a daily. It's very, very little. I could only send you 10 ectos because I'm making a legendary at the moment, so I can't send you more. It's like, I get that all the time. I don't know whether this is me being a grump. I don't know whether this is me being greedy. I don't know whether I should judge these people. But I'm just going to say, why is it so common for people to justify being cheapskates because they have other goals? Sorry, is you making a legendary a tax on your playtime that you have to adhere to? Is there some, like... I don't know on what planet, on what level of existence, in which universe, that is in any way a justification for you cheaping out. And I get it all the time. I don't really care that much, but it's amazing to me that I get it so frequently. Everyone, like, maybe 1 in every 6 people or so seems to think that's a worthwhile justification for cheaping out. Oh, it's because I'm making a legendary. Like, I give a fuck. What's that? What you said? Oh, because I'm making Volcanis. Is that any different? Oh, because I don't know. They're all luxuries. It's all side content. It's all cosmetics. It's all just your choice of where you spend the money. What's so special about making a legendary that absolves you to act like you're poor? You're not poor. You're making a legendary. You're choosing to scrimp and scape in other areas. So I don't understand it. That's all. I'm not angry about it. I just don't understand it. And specifically how many people seem to think that's a normal thing to say. It's like the equivalent of in real life saying, "Oh, I can't give to." Let's pretend the Spud Club is charity, right? Oh, I can't give to charity because I'm going on holiday. And it's like, everyone makes that decision, and there's nothing wrong with making that decision. Charity starts at home. We all care about ourselves more. I'll openly admit I care very little about other people generally, to a point that, you know, I'm vaguely ashamed of myself. I'm honest enough to admit that. But I'll tell you this. You would never go out and say, "Oh no, I don't give to charity because I want to go to the Bahamas because I'm saving up to go to the Bahamas or something." It's just not what's done. I don't know why in a video game it is. And I know the Spud Club, I wouldn't actually call the Spud Club charity at all on any level, because you get back what you put in. It's like any club in the real world. The membership fees pay for giveaways and events and stuff, and Guildhall progress and whatever. So it's not a charity. You get that money back in just a different form, a form that's bundled with a community that's rallied around it. Anyway, we don't have to. But I find it funny. I don't know. It's just very common for people to say that. Wooden Potatoes is priority. Path of Fire releases on a Friday. Will you be streaming on the following weekend or enjoying the expansion instead? Good question, unpronounceable name. And it's a good question because I've only just figured out what I'm doing with that. There will be one stream on that weekend, right after Path of Fire comes out. There will be one stream. On that stream, we are going to talk about general expansion patch association updates. So, you know how when Heart of Thorns came out, the UI changed, and we got concentration and expertise, and we got the new collections that were in Quarteria, just general stuff like that. I'm anticipating stuff like that because of the enormity of an expansion release. I'm expecting stuff like that to happen with Path of Fire as well. We're going to do one stream. Path of Fire comes out on Friday. On Saturday, we're going to do a stream. And on that stream, we are going to capture the new haul with the Spud Club 2. That is what we're going to do on that haul. So we will be in Path of Fire. We'll be looking at general stuff. We'll be traveling through. So similar to how in Heart of Thorns we had to travel through the Auric Basin or whatever to get to that haul, we'll be traveling to Vabi to get that haul one day after Path of Fire releases. That will be that stream. The other two streams, they might be there. It depends on a few things, but they might also be cancelled so that I could just play it on my own time with the people I really care about and not have to worry about entertaining people, not have to worry about having, like, coming to conclusions about stuff instantly. I like to really chew on my food before I swallow it, and I want to chew on this expansion before I swallow it. To me, streaming and making videos and stuff, that is the act of swallowing, and I'm not going to do that just yet. So yeah, there will be one stream. At least. There could be others. We'll see, though. I know this is a strange one, but I just saw your stream announcement on YouTube. How did you get that login screen? It's a fake login screen made by an incredible man that's been working alongside me for a while, called Welk. The people he really cares about, Kappa. I care about my audience, but in a different way, in more of like a professional, sort of dispassionate way. Not a dispassionate way, that's unfair. But you get what I mean. I want to be a fan. I don't want to be Wooden Potatoes. I want to be a fan. That's the best way I can describe it. Wooden Potatoes is a fan, but there's a man behind Wooden Potatoes who genuinely loves this game, and that man wants to play the expansion. That man isn't a content creator. He's just a dude that will sit in his front room and play a video game. And that dude wants to be free for that weekend. That's the best way I could describe it. You wouldn't begrudge me that, would you guys? WP equals a man. What a nerd. Is my love left to be unrequited? Kappa. That man wants to enjoy a game like the rest of us. God damn, that was a good drink. And there's a man behind that man. Sounds scary as fuck. Yeah, the man behind that man is actually a god using a mirror. Woo! Not gonna blame you for that. I'll be there right there with you, lol. Yeah, I think that can happen as well, actually, to be honest. Other people want to digest it themselves. You know, that first weekend, even if I do end up streaming the whole thing, it won't be like spoilery content anyway, because people will whinge about that. So. And the god is actually a man. The man behind the potato behind the Asura. WP equals with power, YouTube, come angry people yelling for YouTube content. You have been known to be one of those, Royal. Spoilers from the Gribble Girl. Cheeky little question. Do you think Firebrand will come out to be the mainly Condi-based or power-based? 420p 6969. That is such an innocent and darling and sweet question. I will tell you this. Absolutely Condi. It's insane to think that it will be anything else, in my opinion. Maybe it will do like what the Reaper did, though, and it will do like a 180 somehow. With some like ridiculous power component that gets buffed in there at some point. But yeah, I'm guessing Condi. Reaper has proved something about Guild Wars 2. It has proved that all you need is a single trait to swing something that is entirely about a different theme of combat and put it in the wrong place. You only need a single trait. That's it. Every single other trait, all the utilities, all that stuff, none of it can have particular Condi synergy, but that one trait, boom, it's over. Yeah, I would get Seraph stats for your Firebrand. I think I really want to get a full set of Seraph stats. I really do. I really, really, really do. So I was looking into a bit of Guardian theory craft the other day as well, like a support Guardian, because the first encounter in the new Fractal would be really good with a lot of stability in the last phase on a low DPS group, because the knockbacks are crazy. It'd be lovely to just stab the shit out of it and just push. But I don't know, some of the trait juxtapositions are kind of lame, and the signet sharing strength thing is kind of lame, and... Here, I'll show you. I'll show you my problem with Guardian. Shall we have a quick look at this? Tiny little bit of... and I really do mean tiny. I know I can be quite long-winded. But here, I'll just show you the main problem as I see it. The thing that I'm upset about with Guardian, anyway. Let's see here. There we go. Hopefully you guys can hear the game. It is very loud right now. What sucks is the most recent patch added a really cool trait to the game, which allows the Guardians of the world to start sharing unique buffs out. And they're pretty strong unique buffs. So let me just show you. Okay, the trait is called this. Perfect Inscriptions. So this existed before, it's been buffed. Signets gain reduced power, reduced recharge, sorry, improved passives, and they share those passives with other allies when you activate them. So that sharing is new to the most recent patch, and it's really quite thrilling. So we'll pop the trait on for a second. And I'll show you guys what these things can do here now, right? So if I activate Signet of Resolve, if I use my heal skill, I now give 5 allies around me Condi Cleanse. 1 Condi Cleanse in 8 seconds time. But still, a Condi Cleanse. Here, if I use my Signet of my Bane Signet to knock someone down, for 3 seconds, that's a lot of breakdown damage. If I use that, I give my friends 216 power. Can we just be clear about this? 216 power is a lot of power. That's like, and that's like Empower Allies, but it will stack on top of Empower Allies, right? So you can have both that and EA. So it's a unique buff that everyone can get, extra power. Also, it's only on a 24-second cooldown, and that will last for 10 seconds. You share it for 10 seconds. See this guy here? I'm going to give him extra power. Boom, he's got that. And he's going to have that for 10 full seconds here. If I have Alacrity, the uptime on that is not too bad. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? Over here, we can reduce his incoming damage by 12%. 12%. And that stacks on top of Frost Aura. And so if you have an Auramancing Ellie, right, who gives 40% protection strength, 10% on the Frost Aura, and then you put this up as well, this is a lot of damage reduction right there. And again, really great uptime. 20-second cooldown. This is a 50% uptime, guys. 50% of the time, my team is taking 12% less damage. And that's without Alacrity. With Alacrity, that would last even longer. It's pretty exciting. I think that's pretty exciting. Let's move on. We can give increased Condi damage, so we can increase power, or we can give increased Condi damage. For some reason... Oh, no, that's the same. And 200, and that stacks on top of Pinpoint Distribution. Same again. The Elite is kind of weird. It would mean that at one point over the next 10 seconds, all of our allies heal around them once. But it does it on 5 people, and each of those 5 people can splash a heal onto the 5 people, which could be like 25 people. It's weird, but anyway, that's not too good. And then the final Signet as well. Passively improve healing, which is kind of lame. But this is cool. I like this. This is a fun trait. This is something for support guards. I like it. Welcome to what Rev was meant to be, says Royal. I actually think you're right about that. I actually kind of do. But no, they were always about boon support. They were about supporting your friends through active effects, yes. But it was always quite expressly boon support, not buff support. And I do think that the devs are slowly finding their feet with what the balance is supposed to be there. Anyway, this is a cool trait. This is a new fun thing. But problems. First of all, you have to dedicate yourself to signets to run it, really. And the signet actives themselves are kind of lame. You're really starved as a guardian for what's fun to run here. Like, you want to be able to run Stand Your Ground and pump out stab. You maybe even want to run Hallowed Ground for even more stab. You maybe want something like Retreat to give people more Aegis, right? You maybe want to run some of these new guys, like the Shield here is actually pretty cool. You might want to, on a support build, be running the Bow of Truth. You might not even like the heal signet's kind of naff, and the elite signet you probably want to run something like Feel My Wrath anyway and give some quickness, because that's the kind of thing a support character's good for doing, right? And now all of a sudden, where are our signets? You know, you want these tools, but you can't have any of these tools to run the signets. So that immediately is annoying about it. But what's most annoying is the line that Perfect Inscriptions is in. Perfect Inscriptions, for some arbitrary reason, has been deemed a Radiance trait. And I don't understand what signets have got to do with Radiance, right? Radiance is blinds, it's burns, it's crits, right? And retail. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's burns. Yeah, I am right. Everything I just said is correct, right? And retail. So you can run like a power version of Radiance these days, and this is actually insanely strong. This is what I run in dungeons. But so it's an offensive line. That's the point, right? I said I'd be brief about this. This is an offensive line. And so it's like you can't really run a support guard in the best of ways that buffs everyone. You can't have that pure idea. You have to be like a hybrid support burn character to do it. And that's where it hooks into Firebrand. You can see the synergy with Firebrand there, because Firebrand is also about similar things. But Firebrand's exciting mostly because of its new utilities as well. So, I don't know. Anyway, so it's suddenly Perfect Inscriptions just feels a bit poo. And that's what disappointed me about Guardian Theorycraft. Because I really like the idea of sharing out Bane Signet and Signet of Judgment. I'd love a build that continuously shares these. I think this is really fun. Other stuff, but then that leaves me with one slot. What, for the bow, the newly reworked bow, and see if that's any good? Or some stab and retail for people? I don't know, man. I don't know. Do you think... By the way, Stand Your Ground is really good whenever you got a chrono, because they bounce it back onto you with their signets and stuff, and it's nice. It keeps the uptime a bit higher. Do you think that Shout Guard will work on Firebrand? You can trait shouts to Condi Cleanse. I guess, yeah. I'm not sure why that's a specific thing on your mind. I don't know. I'm not good with Guardian Theorycraft. I don't know much, but I was looking at support again after the patch, which added so many things, and unfortunately, it only took me a few minutes to get bored of this whole concept, so there you have it. Got a lot of messages here. Did I get your mail? I've got leftover mails right now. I don't know which ones I'm waiting on and blah, blah, blah. But hopefully. Let's play a bit of Rev. I am going to try and sneak in an AB meta. I'm just going to be clear about this before we go into Living World. I am going to do it. Let's see. Auric Basin. Boom, look at that. Look at that Spidey sense for knowing when the meta's up. Look at that. Aren't you guys impressed? Do you think Alacrity should affect energy on Rev? No, I don't. I don't think it should affect initiative either. I've never agreed with anyone that says that. What is the point of homogenizing everything to that degree? You know, certain mechanics should interact with certain functions of the game better than others. If you don't like Thief DPS or what it's capable of in the current meta, the answer is not to give initiative Alacrity response. It's to just buff the baseline aspects of Thief to be able to compete in an Alacrity-based world. That's the answer. That way the mechanics can stay distinct. Oh, I guess I missed it. I think I missed it. Unless I'm... Yeah, well, that's just a hero train, right? Did I join the wrong thing? So yeah, I'm pretty settled on my opinions on that. And demonstrably, the devs have proven that you can satisfy the thieves without making Alacrity affect initiative. They've demonstrably proven that by just basically tuning the shit up. And that's usually what it is. They're not fundamental issues, they're questions of tuning. And people don't have the imagination to realize that. What else is there? That's Abaddon's helmet. Half an hour until the AB meta? Oh, well, screw that then. We'll do Living World. We will do Living World. What did we start on? We started on the Necro, right? Yeah, we did. So we're going to go over. So I got a lot more stories as well, by the way. Did I tell you about my Heatsink adventure? Did that happen yet? I did, yeah. Yesterday's stream was the Heatsink. What day is it? Is it Monday? It's Monday, right? Yeah, it's Monday. The Heatsink. So wait, what was the adventure I had? I had an adventure I wanted to tell you guys about. What did I do the past 24 hours? Why am I blanking? There's a YouTube video up right now, by the way. A new video. It just went live. It's my playthrough of Path of Fire. The demo. Shit, man. I had a really good story for you. I really did. I'm not even joking. This is a legitimate... I'm blanking here. What have I been doing? I don't know. I guess I'll try and have it come to me later. Wow. Great stream quality right here. Does Reshade still load every time you switch map? No, Langdus. That got fixed. That got absolutely fixed. So you don't have to worry about that. You just finished watching that video? Really? You watched that damn quick. Oh, I remember now. Oh, yeah. So I told you guys that Vegas had an update. I've actually been playing with and using the New Vegas. I told you guys I was on the 30-day trial, but I properly customized it and did stuff. That video I just posted, I did one of the new renders, and it is a lot faster now. It's got bigger file sizes, but it's a lot faster now, so it's really, really good. Very useful. Much less stress on me. It'll be even better coming up soon when my internet speeds increase. So yeah, it's been pretty good. I also was looking into like various like paint effects where you can paint onto video files directly in the editing real time. So you know, like when sports commentators draw on like a sports field, and they'll say, "Ow," and the penalty line is here. Oh no, this is where offside was, or blah 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 blah. The idea to be able to do that for like analytic-based videos without having to rely on Epic Pen, which is what I currently use. You didn't even finish the video? It's okay, you can go back to it after this stream's over. Did you see the poll about the story on Reddit? No, but I think someone messaged me about it vaguely on Discord. And I found it interesting. Essentially, I think there was a poll and people voted on what they liked the most. And Season 3 came out on top. Which I think is awesome, because people have bitched about Season 3 and stuff a lot, but when you compare it to the other aspects of this game's story, Season 3 is blatantly a head and shoulder above, and I love that the community recognized that. But one interesting thing to have come from it is that Personal Story was ranked higher than Living World Season 2. In that people like the Living Story Season 2 worse than the Personal Story was better. I think the only place that is a justifiable opinion, and it is perfectly legitimate, the Personal Story had more length to it. It didn't give more breathing room to its stories at all. It was still, oh, this guy dies, and then this guy dies, and we'll introduce this element and drop it instantly, and then this element and we'll drop it instantly, and this element and we'll drop it. And they never cross-pollinated all their various arcs, right? So it was all still very rushed. But it did have more quantity. The reason I think, and I'm going to be a bit snobby here, the reason I think that the Personal Story may have been voted higher than Living World Season 2 is legitimately the placement of Season 2. Season 2, I think we have less memories about as a player base than the Personal Story. Personal Story is where we all started, so we have richer memories about where we all began, and I think that some of that may have even translated into nostalgia at this point, and there's more we think about. Season 2 is like the exact middle right now, right? Personal Story Season 1, Season 2's in the middle, Heart of Thorns Season 3. Season 2 is in the very... And I think that it's got a bit of middle child syndrome going on, where we played it all a long time ago, so we can't really remember it that well and what they did that well. And the game doesn't encourage us to replay content very well because of the hideous amount of account binding. So none of us have really got particularly fresh memories about that excitement of when Season 2 was coming out. And also, things that came out after it have been a bit better than it. So it's kind of like, so I think it's just like, it's more about where Season 2 exists. And it wasn't very long either, right? It was high quality, but it wasn't very long. So expecting people to remember just what was good about it at this point, I think is a bit much to ask. But I really think if someone plays through all of it, back to back to back to back to back, Season 2 is clearly the better content. Clearly. The instances are way better. There's actual detail there. There's real fights. They're actually balanced both mechanically. There's a real through line in the story. We go to more interesting locations like Glint's Lair and stuff. The open world maps that came were much more richly integrated into the story, like the way we explore through Drytop and so forth. They have better cutscenes and more intriguing lore set pieces that are prominently focused upon instead of just weird hints in the background that the devs may or not have even been trying to hint at, but we, the Ravenous community, just ended up interpreting. So I'm talking about stuff like Omad's Machine. You know, they galvanized lore in the community during Season 2 far more than they did during the Personal Story stuff. I really think, I don't really care that much about that poll, basically, because I think that, I think it is still quite clear to me that the Personal Story is worse than Season 2. In pretty much every respect except length. Because I do think the Personal Story's length is more appropriate. Also, for what it's worth, the idea as well. Here's another place that the Personal Story is better. The Personal Story is better in terms of what it aims to do. Season 2 didn't aim to do anything very interesting. Like, broadly speaking, Season 2 doesn't have any incredible ambition, let's be honest. But the Personal Story did. The Personal Story is this epic, beautiful, like, it's almost poetry, right? Or maybe that's a bit much to say. But it's a great fantasy epic story, right? Of the struggle of the Free Peoples. It's got elements of zombie stories in there, which were hot at the time, certainly. How it all culminates in sort of these mechanized races of contemporary Tyria in the ancient magical lands of Or, fighting against the Elder Dragon and so forth. I think that's all really incredible. I think that what it aims to do is fucking amazing. So yeah. There's a couple of things the personal story does better, but overall, blow for blow, instance for instance, moment for moment, season 2 wins hands down. It's not. It's kind of a joke to suggest that it doesn't. It really is. You compare that mission where you're playing Kaith with the memory seeds, and you've like got all those new skills, any of those missions in that episode, to like a low point of the personal story, like the Black Citadel thing, just DPSing that effigy, or even just a regular episode mission in the personal story. Any regular mission. Escorting Sin to the garrison because of his papers as a human story. Watching Ton getting blown up. Saving Apatia after anything, any middling sort of mission. The season 2 stuff win by such a wide margin. It's not even funny. So yeah, I think it's a good example of audience perspectives being a little off. This is all incredibly arrogant of me, obviously, and it's all very up myself, but it's how I feel. In my opinion, there are hints pointing we will see more gods than Balthazar in Path of Fire. If we do, who do you think we'll see? Lissa, probably, and Cormyr would be the two on my list. The others, I'm not so sure about. And then, I mean, if you consider him a demigod, he was never expressly mentioned as one, but maybe more stuff to do with Mengus. Maybe not himself if he's been defeated and whatever, but yeah. One thing I found is that players who have cleared all the raid bosses rated personal story much lower. Yeah, because those will be... That's great. Is that actually quantitatively demonstrated by the poll? That's a fucking cool poll, if that's true. Because there's a logical through line to that, right? People who do a lot of raiding don't like the personal story. I wonder why. Is it because the personal story doesn't stress you as a player that enjoys mechanics in any way? Well, yeah. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Those players that clear raid bosses, they favour good gameplay, not just like... Oh, I'm not going to get all offensive and stuff. But, you know, they prefer good gameplay and involved gameplay and the ability to fail and stuff. And just none of that's there in the personal story. So, yeah, there's a logical through line there. To see that that's substantiated by actual numbers, I think that's very exciting. Yeah, I'm going to make a deeper analysis, says Lemony8. Dude, if you do, link it to me, because I think that's really, really exciting. That's very interesting to see or hear about. All right, let's go. So hold on, just before I do this, let me open my bank. How many? 33, that's fine. And let me just make sure I've actually got a couple of trinkets, because we're a few trinkets shy right now of what we want. Oh, I've got more spare rings. What about... Well, here I've got an amulet and 2 more rings. What is going on with my backpack? With my bank? And then 2 more accessories. I'm not going to have any that I can just whack on there. Assassin's ones there. Screw it. We'll be 2 accessories shy. I'm not too scared about that. I like this Valkyrie build. Lots of health. Super, super tanky. It's nice. And let me just make sure the rest of my build is actually set up properly. What we want to do here is we want to play a Power Reaper. So we're going to run Reaper's Onslaught. Because Power Reaper may not pull good numbers in raids, but for this kind of content, Power Reaper's a lot of fun. We're gonna put Reaper's Onslaught on, so we're gonna attack faster. We're gonna have crazy high crit damage, and our skills are gonna chunk down cooldowns while we're in Shroud. We're gonna run Decimate Decimate Defenses for higher crit chance to make up for the fact that we don't have crit chance on our gear. We have Vitality instead, and then Relentless Pursuit as well. They're not going to be able to CC us or keep us away. Not that there'll be much in this mission, because, again, they need to work on stuff like that, but still. Blood is fine, and then I'll take Spite up here. So for Spite, we will inflict Vuln on Chill. We'll inflict Vuln constantly while we're in our Shroud. Chill of Death I like too, but I'm going for a theme build here, where while we're in Shroud, we are a genuine horrifying movie monster. That's the idea. So we're going to be pulsing out Condis as we're in it, or Vuln specifically. It's going to be good. Increasing the strength of our hits. And then as people start dying, we're going to pop close to death. And we're going to get lots more damage going. Or maybe, would it be more fun maybe to run Signets of Suffering? Retain the benefits of our Signet passives while in Shroud? That might be more fun. I'm gonna run this. We're gonna run a flavor build here. So we're gonna go Signet of Spite, which is gonna give us a ton of power and lots in Shroud as well. We're gonna run Signet of Vampirism, which is gonna heal us while we're in Shroud. We don't have an elite Signet. They need to add that at some... Well, no, they don't need to, but yeah, it would be interesting. I don't care about any of those other Signets. And then Blood Magic, do we want to run? I'm going to run Soul Reaping. We're going to go all about the Shroud, okay? So now our Shroud 1 is going to... entering Shroud grants Swiftness and removes... But we've already got Relentless Onslaught, Relentless Pursuit, so I don't know about that. We'll run Unyielding Blast, so our autos start cleaving more Vuln out. We're going to reduce the cooldown of all of our Shroud things. And look at all that extra Vitality. Doubles our Life Force pool there. Look at that shit. That's crazy. All right. Actually, shouldn't that be written on the tooltip? Did that just double our Life Force pool? That cannot be right, right? Can these bandits please stop attacking me? We're waiting for our vulnerability to run out here. Hold on, guys. There we go. 1,700. It doesn't quite double it, but it gives us a shit ton. That's crazy. And then finally, increased crit chance. Obviously, death perception. Yeah. Stab as well is interesting, but we get stab on the 3. So this is a Shroud Slayer, all right? And then to supplement that, we're going to run the Well of Suffering, because that's always fun to drop on things. And we're also going to run... I wonder if becoming unblockable will help us in any phases of any of the fights here. I doubt it. We're going to run You Are All Weaklings as well for the Might, because in AoE scenarios, the Might is better than most people appreciate. And it's a fun, weird skill that I don't often run. And then we're going to finally finish that off with Chill to the Bone for some break bar damage, because I know that's going to be a phase. There you go. That's a personal story build where we're going to basically just have our greatsword. I'd put a Warhorn and stuff on, but I can't be bothered to mess about with all of that. This is a Condi Greatsword. No, that's not. The Condi Greatsword's that one. Okay, we're good. So let's go on in. What are we doing today? I just started reading Ghost of Ascalon. It starts with a Sylvari Necro dying. That reminds me of something. Oh, don't remind me of the books. I want to read the books. I genuinely want to read the books right now. I've got an itch to do it, but I'm holding back because I want to read it to you guys. I want to do it with... And it's like... I don't know. Anyway, where's Balthazar? I guess I should be recording at this point, right? You guys will have to tell me if the game's too loud at this point. Hopefully it's not. Here comes the double record. No, I can't just read it to you. There are legal issues. Stop it. All right, here we go. Where's Balthazar? Once you're done, could you check your mail, please? I sent you a very interesting message I want you to read. All right. No. I will read it after the stream. Talking equals illegal? Well, yeah, copyright infringement is illegal.
Of course. Why put your hideout somewhere easy when you can put it up there? Guess I'm climbing or using mushrooms.
And this would be copyright infringement. This is not a transformative work. Oh, so check it out. So this is what I love about this instance, by the way. I love looking back up here. What's really exciting to me about this is what Raids did well, right? It's creating a bespoke, special environment to support the story. It's here for nothing else except the story. It's to present an experience of traveling through an area. I love moments like this. This is the Guild Wars 1 campaign juice. This is the, oh... God, what just happened there? Oh my God. Oh my God, are we still live? We are still live. Oh Jesus. Oh my God. Was I in full screen there? No, windowed full screen. Is it, are we there? People are typing RIP. We hear you. Do you see me as well? We're still apparently recording as well. Did you guys hear anything there? It genuinely sounded like my PC was overheating right then and there. It genuinely did as I tried to mess with the OBS. We're still only at about 70 on the temps. You had that a moment ago, seems server size. Music is gone. Audio cut. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was actually trying to cut the audio. There you go. You guys should be able to hear it, right? It looks very loud from where I'm sitting. You can't see my face anymore. Go to China, copyright, have no power there. That's interesting. Is that true? All right. Okay, all right. Everything's fine. Anyway, yeah, so anyway, I love that they built this instance. I think that this is exactly what I always wanted from the story. My perfect Guild Wars 2, the perfect Guild Wars 2, would never, ever do story in an open world environment. Seriously. And that's not just nostalgia goggles and stuff based on my love for how Prophecy's handled things. I just think that you can make experiencing story that much more meaningful by separating the locations instead of, and I think there's a compromise that is made in the back of people's minds without them realizing, and that is when you double up, and that is you sort of don't care anymore about putting the good quality in for the environments that you go to. I don't know, I just feel like it's sort of, there's a lot that gets stripped away, unfortunately, when you're constantly doubling up. And it doesn't do a credit to the locations well enough. So, like, for example, there are personal story steps that take place in Garenhof, but none of them properly tackle the matter of the Wizard's Tower. None of them properly look at what the Inquests were doing there and so forth. In fact, you go there for basically unrelated reasons, and you don't get to properly speak to those members of the village in the capacity of the story. When you do speak to the members of the village of Garenhof as a part of the personal story, they're just whinging about regular generic stuff, because it has to be generic, because it's like the story was written in a vacuum. Do you get what I mean? And it's just like, oh, we'll make this take place in a village or something. I love the way the glider looks there. That looks very broad and cool. So, you know, I think that doing it this way, just baseline, is so much more exciting to me and so much more interesting. But hey. Also, for what it's worth, to speak about the instance itself, you know, beyond just being pleased that they went to the effort of building it, I really like the jumping puzzle that you have to do to climb up. I love walking along in front of these waterfalls. I quite like the music that they use. Again, I feel like it's precious and sacred and should only ever be in raids, but hey, we already talked about that a while ago. Some uninstance stuff is nice, though, like entering Auric Basin and instantly talking to the NPCs. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm not saying story should never exist in open world. I'm saying that... wait, no. How do I describe this? I'm saying that story instances should never exist in open world. I really like what they're doing with, like, speaking to Timey in random places in the desert. And, you know, like, that communicator thing I think is really cool. I don't know why I'm opening with Gravedigger on this. It's a bit silly of me. I like that stuff, but what I'm saying is when we get into actual mission-style stuff and instant stuff, and where they're trying to pull us in and do more meaningful things, I think the second they do that, that they should always try to make a bespoke environment. Or not always, it's just that would be my perfect Guild Wars 2. The realistic world, that would be an arbitrary rule not to follow. But I think that, you know, I'm happy that they're slowly pushing the limits.
What sort of trap is this?
Oh yeah, we're having this graphical bug on this, aren't we? I wonder where... maybe I shouldn't do this with Guild Wars 2 hook on. Because the graphical bug kind of sucks.
The blades and reinforcements. Kill them.
Look at that stun break. 8 might. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Pull them in. Reap them. Yeah, baby. And we don't even get to... I cancel cast that deliberately. I just want you all to know.
Nothing like a trail of bodies to lead you to your quarry.
How do I feel about Timey as a character? I think she's a great character. I think she's used in the wrong places. I think she's used too much.
Well, what have we here? Need some help?
As long as you're here, Commander.
You know who I am.
Everyone knows who you are. You notice those glyphs? They seem to react to bloodstone. Conveniently, they have stockpiles of it here. Are you going to get me out? Or must I do everything myself? I've seen traps like this. You have to neutralize the glyphs with that bloodstone.
So, we are introduced to a mysterious stranger. Woo! Now, I have to be honest, I immediately knew who this was the second I first saw them. And not because I'd been tipped off or anything. It was based on the trailer. And then when I got to experience it, I just knew. I knew because of the covered face. I didn't know because I recognized the voice, just the way that they were writing it. So yeah, what do we have here? Need some help. And so a lot of people didn't like the sort of banter we have with this character right here because they are a stranger. I think that the banter works for now. I don't think it's too much. I think that we can kind of be like, oh, who's this interesting weird stranger here? And they might talk to each other a bit like this. I think, for now. But so far, I think this is okay. And we've got the thing to do, right? So, Let me try and figure this out in my head. I'm going to genuinely try and figure this out right here, right now. If I throw that there, then I light those two up. And if I throw that there, then I light those up. So hold on. If I throw that there...
Anise sent you, did she? She's such a worrywart.
I need to find the eye. She said you were tracking it.
Oh, she did. She's crafty, that one. Throwing us together like two paupers in a coffin.
So the use of the word coffin there, necromantic. Yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say on that one. Let me try and figure out the puzzle here. So now we're going to throw this one here. And then we're going to throw this one here. And now we've just reversed it, right? No, because I've still got this one missing. Hold on. We are close, though. We are close. Because we can neutralize two of those. Hold on, guys. I think, what if we throw that one there now, maybe? Oh, no, you had it, someone said. Someone said I had it. Hold on, then. Let me back up. Let me back up. Backing up. Oh, no, we got it. We got it anyway. We got it. It's fine. I didn't break it. Totally. We still got it. It's all right.
So, what brings you to this neck of the woods?
Well, I was looking.
Okay. It's been fun. I can brag that I fought beside the world-famous Dragon Slayer. But now it's over. Off you go.
You can't get rid of me that easy.
Oh, all right. If you insist. We should split up. You can have the big burly door. I'll take the small one.
No, we should stick together. For safety.
Yours or mine? Fine. Small door first, then. But I'm in charge. You take point. This door's warded. Stand back. I'll get it.
So why are you following the eye?
It's a hobby. I'm a collector of Mersat memorabilia. Aspects of Lazarus, to be specific. Hang me. That sound never bodes well.
They do not belong here. Stop them!
All right, Jesus, that's a lot of dialogue. And I really want to talk about it. So hold on. Do I have to kill these in order for it to push forward? So can we do our discussion now? Maybe. So yeah, she talked about being a collector of memorabilia, the aspects of Lazarus. Oh my god, there's too much going on. All right, that was the Zephyrite song, and I'm still not sure what I think about that. Let's just fixate on that. What do you guys think about the Zephyrite song? What do you think about the fact that Livia is singing the Zephyrite song? What do you think, guys? Let's actually talk about that, because I think this is one of the main takeaways from the entire patch. And it's thrilling to me. Also, this voice actress is so clearly Belgamine from FF10. Do you guys hear it in her voice every now and then? Oh, it's so awesome. I love hearing that. Oh, they evaded it. What a bitch. Ooh. I want to hear her do the whole song. What do we think, everyone? Livia equals Gleam. I don't know why she sings that, but I noticed that too the first time. Yeah, that made me piss myself when I heard it the first time I played. In a room full of devs. It's all about finesse, she says. Is she done singing now? I must admit, I never heard this much of it before because I was already done with the encounter. It's amazing how difficult and challenging these mobs are, right, guys? Look, I'm actually healing as he attacks me. We're exchanging our shroud for health. Why is that happening? Oh, I was wondering why she was being so quiet. It was because I was in shroud. Is that, is she just looping now? Yeah, she is. She's looping. Okay. Well, there we go. So, yeah, what do you guys think? I haven't heard the song when I was playing the story. I was playing with a friend and we were talking over it. Thanks for pointing out, WP. Yeah, I mean, I really do think this is one of the most major parts of the patch. Listen, the whole thing with Livia, people were angry about Livia And I think people have got they can be a bit mad about the Livia stuff. But I'll tell you one thing. But I'll tell you one thing very specifically, right? This is not the end of Livia's story. This is not all about fan fiction and fan service for Guild Wars 1 players. This is the start of Livia's story. This is setting up something in the future. And whatever that is in the future seems to have something to do with the Zephyrites, based on this little hint here. I just don't really know what exactly.
How about you? Enjoying your break?
And so there you go. You only bought 1 episode of the season. Why are people mad about Livia? More of her implementation. I think the main thing to be mad about with Livia is how she wasn't fully introduced to Guild Wars 2 players properly. And even the Guild Wars 1 players that recognize who she was, it's not clear. She's not done anything to justify her reappearance. And so it feels like, well, what's the point sort of thing? Maybe she was the one who gave the Master of Peace the egg? That's a cool theory. The song she's singing is the one from Sea of Sorrow's novel. It's really familiar. So we first heard that song. It's not from the Sea of Sorrow's novel, I don't think. I think the first time we heard that song was when we got to visit the Zephyrites in the Labyrinthine Cliffs. And they were singing it about their mistress, their master, Glint. And it was one of the first hints that Glint was going to be a bigger part of the game. And in fact, back then, I don't even know if they guaranteed we're going to do that. Is he below 50? He is. Good. That break bar's a hell of a break bar, dude. Jesus Christ. Let me get that blind on to finish it off. That's huge damage we get after it goes down, though. My goodness. My goodness. Oh, we're so powerful in Shroud. I love it. We're going to have some stab as we leave here as well. Let's pull these guys in. Oh, we got to break it by throwing this, right? Do we? No? I actually quite like the speed of the encounters right now.
The fate of Kryta is in our hands.
Hold on. So you're collecting aspects of Lazarus. What do you plan to do with them?
That's classified. Civilian.
You could have just said you were locking them up somewhere safe. Now I'm even more curious.
Curiosity killed the commander. There's 1 shard left. Let's keep moving.
What's this? What are people saying in chat here? Do you think we'll have an encounter with Gleam? I hope so in the story. What else are people saying? Shit, I just accidentally threw Twitch chat up. That's going to show up on the video later. Livia's going to become a god just like Kjolnir. I don't think that's a good thing.
This one looks a little more complex. Hope you brought a book.
Hope you brought a book, she said.
I'm better at this than I thought. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm not going to go through there. I want to talk to Twitch, Livia. Stop it. Right now. Just think how long ago she was in the story. Apparently she's a legend to humans, yet we never heard of her. If I didn't play Guild Wars 1, I wouldn't know what to do with her. Absolutely, and I think that's a big problem this patch. Considering how they ended the real Lazarus, they probably done with Livia as well. No, they're not. There is no Zephyrus. I will bet my entire account on them not being done with Livia. That's absurd. Like, truly, genuinely, sickeningly dumb. Like, your cynicism has gone so off the deep end that you've lost all base in reality if you think they're never going to touch Livia again. And you're not the only person to make such ridiculous statements like that, but trust me, Livia will come back. This is the start of something for Livia. It's not, oh, there you go, she's done by. I hope you guys are all happy with the fan service. Ta-ta now. They're not that bad. I mean, they can be bad. They're not that bad, trust me. Well, if we're going to the Crystal Desert, now is the best time to bring Gleam in. I agree. We talked about that on yesterday's stream a little bit. Wow, dude, maybe a little over the top and insulting. I'm not attacking him. I'm attacking the idea. There is precedence, Malix. No, but Malik, Smitsky, though, I've explained this before. Malik looks like this great, massive, unanswered thing, and it is. And I, as a fan of the story and what's going on, and as a hater of the personal story, I can't believe I've just defined myself as that, right? As someone who will take a lot of opportunities to dislike the personal story. This here, okay, this is not... It was a branch in a branch in a branch of the personal story. It was not a core, absolute must instance that everybody does, right? It was like it was an exploration of a part of the story that the devs will have viewed as just as likely of being picked up as, say, the Infinity Ball or any of those other branches in branches. Malik is not comparable to them doing a main thread storyline as they now do in the game, where they make a big fuss over the reintroduction of a character. It's not comparable at all. So no, Malik is not precedent for dropped storylines. When we look at the Livia thing, it is for other things within the personal story, certainly, and even when we look at some of the things that were lost in Guild Wars 1 to Guild Wars 2. But for story these days, they don't just do that for no reason. And they haven't for like 2.5 years, maybe even 3. Right? You'll take that bad that ArenaNet can be that bad. That's pretty crazy, man. That is, honestly, I would really, really take a step back there. A hater of the personal story, also a YouTuber. Twitch streamer, YouTuber, hater. I'm sorry if I did get personal. I really do mean no ill will to any specific people. But yeah, I mean, it is obscene. Livia will have a role to play, or they wouldn't have brought her back. I mean, it also shows an incredible... If they really did that, if they just brought Livia back to make us all wank off over it and then expect to be able to drop her again instantly and never touch it again. If they really did expect to do that, you know, that shows some pretty deep-seated cynicism from the devs as to how intelligent or, you know, savvy the player base is, right? To think they could just pan to us as base as that. And I think it's just ridiculous. No worries, man. You're entitled to your opinion. Love you. Thanks, man. Quite often on the internet, you'll find that people get offended for imaginary people. I'm glad to see that you never had a problem. It was someone else that suggested that it was too insulting. It wasn't their place to say because they weren't the target of it, but there you go. It's the internet. That's what happens. You said you saw the raid spoilers. Are you interested in talking about the possible region or not? Also, wank off over Livia check. Yeah, I don't know. I don't... You described them as spoilers there. Aren't they totally unsubstantiated, though? So I don't care, to be honest. We can talk about it if we want. People think that the next raid might be Fissure of Woe. If it is, I'm definitely going to jerk myself over that a little bit. But I don't know whether it's true. So, I mean, it's cool. I'm not sure what else... I'm not sure how deep down the rabbit hole I want to go. And, you know, it's just as meaningful for me. If that Reddit thread had said it was the Wizard's Tower, right, it would mean just as much to me. The content of the suggestion doesn't matter when it's unsubstantiated. To me, so much. Do you think Livia has manipulated many events in Guild Wars 1 considering she's the leader of the Shining Blade? Maybe. But I like the idea that she took she sort of stepped back a bit and let E take over and stuff. I mean, E's pretty interesting as well in terms of like... there's lore in this patch about Anice's predecessor that I think that they've done the E thing. We talked about that on the recent stream as well and why that could be a bit annoying. But yeah. Oh... I'm just going all CC right now. That's all I'm doing. I'm trying to break his break bar as fast as possible. And then we'll get the autos rolling. 8k autos. Christ almighty. Yeah, he really takes a lot of break bar damage. Did he just heal himself? Did I just see that? What is this? E and her motive certainly aligned to a degree. You are all weaklings. I agree indeed. Oh, and these are the reinforcements, right? There's an achievement for this or something. I guess that guy's not coming. I want to test something here. If I pop this signet and then this signet and they're on cooldown and now we're going to Shroud. No, they don't come back. That would have been an interesting function of that Grandmaster. There was no suggestion it was going to work that way. It's just something you never know sometimes with Guild Wars. I wonder why this guy didn't count as a part of that wave in that fight. So there, by the way, you notice we were getting all those extra 1,000 damage packets. That's because we're inflicting vulnerability on our autos. And Livia casts a Mesmer ability called Fragility, which is a GW1 Mesmer ability. which means you gain extra damage on Condi application, and it's basically just ripped straight out of Guild Wars 1. It's fan service for GW1 players. That's genuine fan service. That's genuine nodding back just for the sake of nodding back. And it exists within the game mechanics, and it's bloody awesome, and I love it. And I take no offense to that. I think it's really cool. There's another skill as well. What's the other one, guys? What's the other hex that Livia uses? Do you think Livia's working with Ogden? I would hope so, because they're both heroes from the same campaign. You know, if you said to me, is Livia working with Raza, or did Livia work with, you know, any of those other, MOX even, I think, to an extent. I mean, MOX is sentience and stuff, but the point is, if we're talking, or Zayri, right? Or Zemnai and stuff like that. Not Zemnai. Who's the other? Master Reiko, I think it is. If you ask me that, I don't know whether I'd really say, because they were all a part of the same team running around with the hero in Guild Wars 1, but were they really? They're separate campaigns. But Ogden and Livia were the same story, so there's every bit of reason to believe they did know each other in lore, and they did do stuff. Livia also, for what it's worth, I want to see a lot of Asuran stuff in her story, what she's been doing over the past 250 years. I want to hear more about the Asura, because you know, when we met her for the first time, it was through the context of the Asura, right? And Gad, and you know, Gad's death and stuff, and Bloodstone experimentation and things. You know what I really want to see, in all honesty? I want to see Livia. Next time we see Livia, I want to enter the Bloodstone caverns down here, and in a similar way to in Bloodstone, in a similar way to how Brisbane Wildlands gave us an instance. That took us, you know, presumably up here or whatever. I want to see them do the same thing in Straits of Devastation now, at some point, where we meet up with Livia and we go into that caverns, that secret door that's existed there since 2012 and has had nothing. I think that would be really, really cool. So Livia has just started collecting Lazarus fragments, and the White Mantle did actually reform their defeat in GW1. So what actually has she been accomplishing? That's a great point. It's a good question. I hope it's well answered, and I hope it's to do with the Scepter of Ore and other things. Ink says, my one nitpick is the story mentions she is standing out in the open among the people, and I wish she would have been some random unnamed NPC in other story pre this one. Yeah, I think that's a good point as well. I think, as always, the devs are missing their opportunities for that. If they knew Livia was going to come back at the start of season 3, why wasn't there some kind of appropriate hint at the start of season 3? And that's why I think it looks like a bit of an ass pull sometimes, because maybe it was one. I like Livia's attitude towards the commander, since she's now basically seen it all and the commander isn't really anything special. Yeah, I agree with you there, but it's also a bit weird. It's a bit overly buddy-buddy. I like it too for that reason too. I just think it's a bit over the top. So was Livia this sneaky prior to spending time with the Asura? Sort of. I don't know. We didn't really get to see much of her before she was spending time with the Asura. I would say as well, though, we hear about the Shining Blade, a seer artifact that was given to the Shining Blade. That happened after the events of Guild Wars 1. Livia could have been involved with that. Livia could have left and gone dicking about with the seers. Who built the Bloodstone? It was the seers, right? So maybe Livia's got this huge story where she started dicking about with the spears and the seers, and her hatred of the Massart and stuff right now is not just to do with the Crichton Civil War, but it's because she learned a lot from the seers, yeah? I think that would be kind of exciting. Am I excited about the religious crisis of the humans with Balthazar? Not particularly, but I think they could do stuff that makes me excited about it.
White Mantle, don't be silly. Your only legacy is blood and suffering.
Before we deal with her, we need to take down these barriers.
It will be.
I also think it's a shame that this antagonist right now, this Justicar, I think it's a real shame that she doesn't she wasn't introduced earlier in the season. This is sort of an ass pull too. Who's this White Mantle? Why do we care about this White Mantle? Where do they come from? I'm actually going to pop the signet here to put damaging conditions on it. Did you see that all the pops of fragility we got there? That was really fun. But so it's instantly cleansing, so only hard CCs will work right now. That's curious. Fear helps a little bit. I guess we're just not going to break that break bar. Fine. Down it goes. We're actually getting so many fragility procs on this build. It's kind of a great build to run on this. Are you doing a full instances run? I could use a carry in the last one for achieves. I don't know whether we'll get to the last instance today. We'll at least be doing the next one. And I don't know, maybe we'll get through it all today. Maybe we will. Would certainly be nice. Let's see what we got here. Oh, they're not 1,000 damage procs. They're 100 damage procs, but still. Look at 100, 100, 100. All them honeys. And down it goes. Oh, oh, come on. The CCs, really? Oh, and the Gravedigger didn't even hit it that hard. What the hell? It's amazing how much comedy there is on this stuff. And lifesteal as well. I just accidentally AFK'd a Tyria meta, and I got about 85% participation. Really? That's funny. Oh, so my mistake was I just needed to attack this fucking thing earlier. Oh, that's not going to do enough damage. How did I do so much damage a second ago?
Oh, I dare. Believe me, I dare. Your false gods are destined to die.
Because the one thing I would say about Livia is she does seem to seriously hate the Massart right now. Before, it wasn't about a hatred of Massart. It was about a loyalty to Kryta and caring about Kryta. And one folds into the other, but it was all about... She cared about Kryta. It wasn't about hating Massart. It was about caring about Kryta. And now it's just all about fucking hating Massart. And I think that that's a thing that I didn't quite anticipate or expect or maybe even like about this. All right, so how do we do this one? Let's see if we can figure this out again. I'm guessing we throw here. That doesn't quite work, I don't think. At least I don't think I see the solution right now. 250 years is a long time to build up a grudge, but there's nothing grinding on her to build that grudge. The Massart have been in the background. They've been gone. They haven't been affecting Kryta. Do you get what I mean? She cared about Kryta, not the Massart. So when the threat, the Massart threat to Kryta goes away, it's interesting to think. Someone says that they see the solution right now. I actually don't right now, so I'm just going to toss a random thing and see where we get to from there. I mean, obviously we can eliminate that corner, but then we can't quite eliminate this one. So I'm going to throw one here, I think, on this. Is WP just bad at puzzles? I fucking hate that about the internet. I hate how snobby people are when it comes to puzzles. It's so annoying. Yeah, because the subtext there is, I'm really good at puzzles. Somebody tell me I'm good at puzzles. I see it. But it like they phrase it through a put down. All right, here we go. I think we got it. And then we go over here, right? No, and then I messed that up. Let me try this anyway. So then we've got one. Basically, I've done the reverse of what I did before. I just threw stuff around till I saw a solution. Yeah, that's the way I've done it before. This time I'm trying to do it intelligently, but I'm being mocked for it. You always think you're good at something you already did? Maybe. Oh. Hi, please don't kill me for this question, but can you invite me to Spud 2? If you want to join the Spud Club 2, we are accepting members. You need to go to Discord to find instructions on how to do it. Hold on, don't distract me. I do actually genuinely want to figure this out right now. This one's so much more annoying with these goddamn little things chasing me constantly. So if I throw that there, basically the idea is we want to close the gap between the one on its own, right? That's the whole point. So here we've got two on their own now. And now if we do that, I guess now we've got three that we can eliminate. But we're still one off. The first time you accidentally overcharged her. Don't go symmetry with this. Yeah, like we're trying to offset it, right? That's the point. So this would be an offset to do that. Someone else says, hi, you wooden potatoes. I am wooden potatoes. Hello. It's good to hear from you. And then that would offset it as well. Oh, I thought we had it again. If the laser beam was here, we would have had it. Let's try that. And then that again. Oh my god, you twat. Oh no, that one didn't work at all well. That didn't work at all well. I'm just trying to do the ring around the rosy basically right now. No, because now you're on. You dick. We're still just trying to figure out basically. When is the Elder Scrolls coming? When I can when I can take a break from Path of Fire basically. So we got those now, but there's still one on its own. There's two on their own right now. Two on their own isn't too bad. Oh my god. Let's try it like this, I guess. I'm just going to try it like this. Sort of a shot in the dark on that one. Is this live? Put a shoe on your head. For some reason, trying to watch chat and trying to avoid these little guys and do the puzzle at the same time is proper stressing me out right now. It's like super stressing me out. We'll try this again.
I can manage.
So now we can eliminate those three. But this one's slightly off. Hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Yeah, you're not going to be able to give advice in chat, guys. It's just not going to happen because of stream delay. We've still got one spare up. We're getting close, though. We're getting close to having them all. Let's try that one there. So now we can eliminate those three. And then we can eliminate these three. That's it, isn't it? Didn't we just do it? I think we just did it. Fingers crossed. I think I've got it. Let's have a look. If she body blocks this, I'll be so angry. So I think we can eliminate those three, and then we can come over here and eliminate these three. Oh, you dick! Stop it! We good?
I'll drown you in your own blood. Oh, gods. There's never a silencing hex around when you need one.
Do you know what? I feel like I sort of wonder who... I want more on this character, because we get a little bit from the ambient lore in the area, right? But I really don't remember much. She's sort of such an uninteresting character. At least make it a really big, threatening-looking enemy. Why did it have to be, like, some flimsy little chick, right? Like, we should have it, you know, at least feel threatened in that way. If you're not going to give it any backstory, at least make it visually intimidating. But I guess girl power to an extent? I don't know. All right, let's kill this. Such good voice acting in this game. I'll drown you in your own blood. Oh god, there's never a silencing hex around. So yeah, she mentions hex there. Sort of mesmery, sort of roots and things, I guess we're looking at here. Is there something special I should be doing in this fight? Just feels like a bit brute forcey right now. Oh, she's phasing, I guess. This is... so now we break her break bar. And we get a nice big burn phase. Mini little sort of raidy encounter this is, really. The devs talked about, you know, learning from raids and fractals and stuff for their story missions. And I'm really happy to see them doing that. You see a lot in episode 6. This is the first little hint of it, but there'll be more coming up as well. So we're at 25 might now. I don't know whether I really have the CC anymore. I had to dodge that as well. I don't know. Oh, they CC'd me in the middle. Fear it, maybe? No, I think we missed. Did we miss it? Oh, no, we got the break bar. We got the break bar. I should save my crowd controls then, if she's going to do it multiple times. On last week's stream, you guys may have noticed. Here we'll get chill and blind off. Oh, or no chill, I guess. We'll Signet of Spite. I'm pretty sure my other weapon set doesn't have anything, guys. So we're waiting for the skill 5 to come up. Nope. Man, those break bars come quick. What do you think about a stat that gives you extra break bar damage? Would that be interesting? No! I was just starting to Greatsword 2 spam, and the fucking thing blew up. Oh my god, she's such a bitch. Oh, fear them away. Oh, that was a weird way to end that. There we go.
So, I'm starting to think you enjoy these traps.
It's a chance for me to sit back and watch you work your magic.
Let's make this quick. The eye is on the move, and we need to find it again.
Why? What do you care?
It's classified.
I deserved that.
You tell me your plans, and I'll tell you mine.
Honestly, I can't. I took a sacred oath, crossed my heart, and hoped to die. And I would die.
And if I swear not to tell anyone, cross my heart.
The oath we take is far more intense and binding. Not something you seal with a pinky swear.
We'll see what Anise has to say about that.
I just want to say to whoever just subbed in the middle of that dialogue, I hate you, and I have to redo this entire instance again now in order to make my video, because that's going to appear in the audio, and I've got no other choice, really. Unless maybe I put it online somewhere. God damn it. Never have I wanted someone to not sub more. You're the worst person in the world. Dark Vampire Squid. I love you, really. Thank you very much. I appreciate the sub, and anyone else who did as well today. So yeah, all right, let's dig into this dialogue here. So here we hear about the oath. What do we think about this, guys? Someone asked me a question as well. It was totally unrelated to the story. Sorry. What about a break bar that gives you bonuses if the enemy breaks it? Some real counterplay to CC. Well, we do get bonuses. We get extra damage and stuff. But you mean like... Wait, what about a PvP break bar that gives you bonuses if the enemy breaks it? I don't know. I'm not sure I can really unpack that. Yes, we have Divinity Original Sin coming out as well, I know. What are my opinions on the current legendaries? That's what it was. You feel like too many are sort of jokey. You wish there were some more serious ones. Yeah, a lot of people have been feeling that way. I don't really care. I've not really been going for many of them. Trolling WP with subs commences in 3, 2, 1. I mean, I've been kind of resigned to it anyway. Like retaliation just for CC. Oh, I see what you mean. Right. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. That would be pretty cool. Right here, the Shining Blade are all about their customs, but later they bend the rules to let a non-human join. I don't take too much issue with that. It's not like this is a standard occurrence. It's not like you are just any old random person. It is quite extraordinary, the things you've accomplished on Tyrion done. And that I don't take issue with. But, and also, it's not about customs. The idea is it's a magical thing. If she breaks her oath, it will magically kill her. It's not some necessity to stick with tradition and not bend the rules. It's that she will die and she doesn't want to die. What, you want her to just kill herself to give us some minor packet of information? That's her being a stick in the mud that's looking at tradition, is it? No. It's a thing. Anyway, the idea of constructing this I don't really like too much, honestly. If this was a new faction and they had this associated with them, and something with more magical leaning and so on, I could see it. If they talked about this in the personal story even, where we're already introduced to the Shining Blade of around now, and, you know, it explained why we'd never heard about our parents and stuff, I could understand it a bit better, but they have just thrown this in out of nowhere, haven't they? Unless I'm wrong and I'm forgetting some lore somewhere. I think this has been thrown in out of nowhere, and that's what I sort of don't like about it. Honestly, so selfish keeping secrets just so she wants to live. God. The character's decision to take the oath is the problem. Yeah, we'll get to that soon, Wetojo. Don't you worry. It's risky to do a magical human ritual as a plant. You think that the oath was an ass pull, to be honest? I mean, but it's a weird... You can't even say it's like they wrote themselves into a corner and they had to resort to it. This is a problem that they establish in this episode and resolve in this episode. So to ass pull this is genuinely quite bad, I would say. The only reason the oath exists... Because let's unpack this, right? The only reason the oath exists in the story is to make the player character take the oath and join the Shining Blade. It exists as a construct to get ultimately to get the player into the Shining Blade. And so far, they've not done anything interesting as a member of the Shining Blade. And people fundamentally, based on your race and preferences and stuff, don't like it anyway. So that's sort of where you might be upset with it. Do you think there will be a plot point about us not being able to reveal a Shining Blade secret to other NPCs? Right, and that's what the logical conclusion of all of this, right? That it's a setup for a conflict later, and something meaningful later. If I were the devs right now, I'd be scared of that, because I think there's a lot of armchair story enthusiasts, and I'm raising my hand right now. I'm one of them, who think we're better than the devs, and we're all sort of the armchair people, not me necessarily, because I'm not too upset about this one in particular, but I think there's a lot of people out there, basically, if they do that story, which is what this seems to be setting up, I think there's a lot of people that will condemn it because they never liked the initial inclusion of their character joining anyway. There's this thing of the story right now in Guild Wars 2 where people don't know whether it's trying to be prescriptive or descriptive. So are you playing you? Are you playing your character? Are you making the decisions? Is it your headcanon that matters? Is it you role-playing? Or are you playing as a character, the Pact Commander, who thinks on their own, feels on their own, speaks on their own? And increasingly, as the game has gone along and they've moved away from story decisions, dialogue decisions specifically, like routing choices we can still make, but dialogue and emotional decisions, right? As they've moved away from emotional decisions we can make, and as they've increasingly voiced the player character more, we're shifting as a community, as a story presentation, we're shifting from us determining where the story goes into just witnessing a story that was laid out already. And so there's a lot of people that don't realize that at the moment, and there's a lot of people that are like, oh, my character would never do this. I would never join the Shining Blade because I don't think that works. And sort of, and I'm giving a horrible voice there. I shouldn't really, because there's some validity to what they're saying. But, you know, the idea that it doesn't match with your headcanon, there's a lot of people complaining about that. I'm not so on board of. With however, let me just say, my kind of horrible douchebag voice there is sort of a bit unwarranted, because in a lot of ways, even if they are describing the story to us, a lot of us are on board with that. But as a described story, it can still fail. So why would they let a... what's the weirdest thing to let in? A char, maybe? Let's think about this. The Shining Blade were established when exactly? It was to fight the White Mantle, right? So the Shining Blade were never established to fight the Char. So, I don't know. Who's the weirdest one to join? I don't know. Maybe the fact I can't find an answer that conveniently to this question means that it's not that bad that we join on all races and all genders. But yeah, maybe a Char, right? Like, so maybe when they have our Char join the Shining... Maybe that just doesn't work at all, right? And it's not because it doesn't match with our headcanon. It's just because it doesn't match with any canon. It doesn't match with the established lore and the way that people would think and act. And they're just being manipulated too much. And so I think that's the other problem that's going on with the story at the moment. And that's and it's increasingly going on. The writers are suffering because there are too many branches people could have come from. And they're writing like one homogenous character that no matter what gender you are, no matter what race you are speaking and acting the same way. And so anytime that character does something extreme, any time our player character does something extreme, it's gonna feel ill-fitted to one race or another. If our character breaks down and cries like a little girl in the corner, and I'm playing a massive manly Norn, it's going to feel weird. If I'm rampaging through the countryside, destroying things with a group of thugs and cronies around me, that might sort of work for a male Char, who you can, you know, imagine there it's just sort of the warband lifestyle and conquest and dominion. But it doesn't work at all for a delicate little Sylvari that's just been born, yeah? But they all have to be written the same way. Or at the moment, they're all being written the same way. Basta Man says, but remember that Char want peace with humans. I wasn't talking about the humans anyway. Oh, you mean the Char coming in? Yeah, I mean, the commander is the commander, guys, no matter what race it is. And I think that's the problem. Everyone has a different version of what they think the commander is and it should be doing. And so, a lot of the time, the more extreme the devs do stuff, the more they try to push the boundaries of this story, the more people will take issue. Because they can't do extreme stuff, because they're not writing bespoke story. They're not writing 5 stories for every patch, are they? So my solution to this whole discussion, this like kind of airy, waffly discussion we've had, my solution, if you will, is not much one of at all, but it's kind of like if you're gonna pay people to voice 10 versions of every line anyway per language, so 30 for all 3 languages, you're gonna pay people to do it anyway. Why not tweak the lines ever so slightly? When you're copy pasting that commander's script for each new voice actor that's coming into the booth, why not take a tiny moment, find somewhere to inject this in the workflow, in the pipeline, somewhere to do a pass, right? Get someone to just spend a day or two just doing a pass on those scripts at the last hour once all the other stuff's nailed in, just to tweak it slightly for each specific voice actor, to make it feel a little bit more fitting. That's all. And only in the commander's dialogue, not people's responses to the commander's dialogue. You can entirely encapsulate that within the commander's dialogue. But I think there are probably some little bits of wordplay and finesse you can do that makes that work. And makes things feel a little bit more natural, even if ultimately the commander's story beats are all on the same trajectory and they're all still in the same. There's no actual divergence in the core storyline, but the way that the dialogue is written is ever so slightly different per race, right? And even gender as well. And you know, that has the added benefit of it feeling more meaningful when your players go back and re-experience the story on a different race or a different tune, because they're saying slightly different things more frequently than they currently are. You know, and I think that the devs do this on occasion, but I think sort of a more of a sturdy implementation of that might be good. I don't know. I think anyone who's asking for 5 separate stories is a nutter. I think anyone who's saying, oh, it doesn't fit for my char, so this is terrible, they should have made my char not join, I think you're a nutter. I think that that becomes so unwieldy. So what, now the devs have to perpetually, forevermore in the development of Guild Wars 2, remember that while 4 races joined the Shining Blade, the char didn't, and if we ever allude back to that, we got to remember, it's just asking for char, and that's just on that one little patch. Then they do it on another patch and another patch, and all of a sudden it's spiraling out of control. You're just going to have to face facts. You live on planet Earth, and it's going to be this way. You're going to have one commander, generally speaking. Smitsky says, we need 10 different stories, exclamation mark. Thank you very much for the sub there, Mr. Spin. Thank you. And, you know, all of this sort of orbits that discussion before of, like, just because something's in the game, does it need perpetual development? Just because dungeons are in the game, do they need perpetual development? Just because activities are in the game, just because there are 5 races in the game, do they all need perpetual, bespoke, little happy, fairy fun times all the time? The devs could have just as easily only added 4, and they'd only be obligated to add only 4, or they could have only just done humans. And, you know, maybe that's one place where just forever Guild Wars 1 was always at an advantage over Guild Wars 2 narratively. And that's that they could have one much more hyper-focused, streamlined experience that they're presenting to people, because they only did that one race, or not even one race, right? Or that campaign, because of the way the business model worked as well. It was all like hyper-focused within that campaign, you know. And so they never really had to deal with this problem. In small amounts, they did an Eye of the North, because you could have been a Prophecies hero, or a Canthan hero, or an Elonan hero, and that's, you know, like having 3 races in Guild Wars 2 at this point. But mostly they never had to worry about it. RTX says Guild Wars 2 feels like it focuses on Savari. I feel like you have just stepped through a time machine and you're talking to me from 2013. Can I use your time machine? Can I go back? I'd do some things differently if I could go back to 2013. What I'm trying to say there is I sort of agree, but only a long time ago. I think they've moved quite comfortably out of that. So anyway, let's pull this sword out of the stone. Like King Arthur. We're going to spam F. This is pretty cool.
She can't tell you either, but I'm off to HQ to gather intel on the Eye's movements. You may as well come along.
Where is it? I usually meet Anise in the palace.
I'll show you. Meet me in the Reach Mausoleum. It's perfect for a secret rendezvous. The spectators are all dead.
So, someone said, wow, WP makes a good point. ArenaNet, more fairy fun times, please. Someone said, do you think Livia deliberately trapped herself? I'm sorry, trapped herself where and when? Sorry? Am I missing something? Break the statues. Their taste of art is ugh.
That put me into an adventurous mood.
No, so SVK151 leaves a sarcastic quip there and says, yeah, Heart of Thorns didn't focus on Sylvari at all. Heart of Thorns obviously did focus on Sylvari, but it wasn't the entirety of it, right? Like, I would say that Guild Wars... Well, the point is that Heart of Thorns was always... That was his ambition, and that was okay, right? When you look at, like, Living World Season 1 and Living World Season 2 and Core Tyria, all of these had heavy Sylvari leanings that didn't really deserve to be there. And that's, I think, where the problem was, for me at least. And maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't have said 2013. Maybe I should have said 2014. But certainly over the past 2 years, I would not say it's been Sylvari leaning. Don't break their statues, put them in a museum. Perhaps you're right to sarcastically quip at me there, but only by a bit. Holy fuck, I just realized I'll be on YouTube. I need to think about what I say. Yes, you will be forever on YouTube. So be aware. Alright, what did she say at the end here? We'll see what Anise has to say about this fact that you're not talking to me, lady. And she said she can't tell you either, but I'm off to my headquarters to gather intel on the Eye's next movements. You may as well come along. Where is it? I usually meet Anise in the palace. Well, I'll show you. Meet me in the Reach Mausoleum. It's perfect for a secret rendezvous. The spectators are all dead. More necromancy stuff, more hints. Do you see how layered it is? Like, I really like that. I don't think that's too on the nose. Do you guys? The little necromantic stuff? I don't think that's too on the nose. I really like that. I mean, it's just the face and stuff. And I think the general delivery of the lines is what tipped it over the edge for me. All right, let's go down. Where would we be without sarcasm, Loveheart? I suppose if I talk sarcastically to my audience, I shouldn't flinch when they talk sarcastically back to me. You reap what you sow, right? That's what I've always said about people. I need to learn that about myself. While playing through it, you were kind of taken out of the Shining Blade? Again, it's just... and I like that they did this mausoleum here. I just wish that they talked about it earlier in the story than they did in the end. Wildy on air says, what up, lads? I always thought the balance of races wasn't that bad, except for Char. Ritlock is hardly focused on, and Rox barely plays any role for someone who can sometimes calm down Bram. So I agree with you, actually, that Char... I think that the Norn have the least influence, and it's really sad that they have the least. But I think that the Char have been most mishandled. As in, like... The second you leave any Char map, all, like, understanding and notion of the warband structure and High Legion structure and lifestyle of a Char as a member of a warband instead of an individual in the world and as beholden to the machine of war and blah, blah, blah. All notion, all semblance of that being a thing is completely shat on the second you cross the border into any other region. It's just gone. They just stick their middle finger up it. And in any Char you meet anywhere in the entire world, it's just such a boot in the face of everything, really, to do with the Char. So I think the Char are most mishandled, but the Norn have the least emphasis. And I think the Norn are mishandled to an extent as well, by the way. In that a lot of their nuance has been stripped out in Guild Wars 2, but that's a different topic. You miss your warband? You enjoyed recruiting them? Yeah, in my, like, dream amazing version of Guild Wars 2 and the personal story, I would love rewriting that warband story and really tapping into that essence of, like, building up a party in an RPG, or, like, you know, when you play Mass Effect and you're traveling the world to get your crew and stuff. I really like that kind of stuff in games, and I think that the Char section of the personal story could deliver it so well for Guild Wars 2. And it scratches the surface right now. Could do a lot better. I love the idea that in the personal story, if you didn't save the water pipes that go near the mausoleum, you might have poisoned the Shining Blade headquarters. What's this? In the personal story, if you didn't save the water pipes that go near the mausoleum, you might have poisoned the Shining Blade headquarters. You mean those pipes up there? Is there a thing where you poison those pipes in the personal story? I'm happy to admit that I don't know about that, but is that really a thing? I thought I knew what all the personal story steps were, and I don't remember anything about poisoning those. Is it to do with the circus story? Because that's the one I'm the worst at. Why is there Stardew Valley behind the potato? Because I enjoyed playing Stardew Valley when it came out. What more is there to say? No, there's a thing where you stop bandits from poisoning them. Really? In the street rat story? Well, damn, there you go. I should replay that. I should refresh myself. That's the problem with all of this. I'm continually forgetting stuff. I'm getting stupider, and my opinions are starting to be unjustifiable because I'm losing my edge. 11 days left for Path of Fire hype. Oh yeah, baby. That bloom. That's pretty crazy. I think the fact goes hand in hand with how MMOs are of today. People's attention span has really thinned out, so the micro details and subtle stuff gets lost. I don't think Guild Wars 2's problem is subtle stuff getting lost. I do think that there is a problem with the way that consumers are treated in the MMO space. Just so that they can get as many as possible. There's an interesting thread on our Morrowind at the moment. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's very fun and all dandy to hate on Todd Howard and Bethesda these days. But there's a funny... there's a thread I genuinely do agree with on our Morrowind. And Morrowind is one of the other Scrolls games I've had a huge amount of fun with. If people don't know, in Morrowind there was no fast travel. There were methods of traveling fast via loading screen. But it wasn't like a system where you went on your mini-map and you just click something and boom, you were there, all unimmersively. It was like you had to go to a man to pay him to ride his Silt Strider, and he would only take you to certain places. Or you pay a guy at a boat and you could go to certain docks around the coast. Or you could pay a mage to teleport you to a certain place. Or you could eventually become a mage powerful enough yourself to mark and recall and stuff. And, you know, they were all, like, integrated aspects of the game. It was all very immersive, very deeply RPG. And it's one of the things that I love about that game. It really, genuinely is. There's no... Oh, I'm on the Shining Blades boat mission on this. Shit, we got to stay on the Sylvari then. It's something I always remember very fondly. And it's something I always detested about Oblivion. Whenever I mod Oblivion, I always remove all the fast travel points. And put, like, my own fast travel system in there. My LP of it, if and when I get to it, won't have that. But anyway... So anyway, there's a thread showing some quotes from Todd Howard. So there's one about Morrowind in 2001 where he's marketing Morrowind, and he's talking about it's being fun to actually travel around the real world and to actually play a game and to not rush everywhere, and that roadside adventures are fun and stuff, and he's justifying what he really believes. And then 3 years later in 2004, there's a quote of him marketing Oblivion, and in this quote he's saying... Oh, yeah, you know, a lot of people gave us some nice feedback that they liked fast travel, and so, yeah, fast travel's in it now. And you can just sort of hear that part of him dying on the inside, where, like, these very pure, like, RPG fan concepts are sort of getting crushed away, and as they have to pander to more common consumers. And the spirit of that story I just gave you there, whether you agree with Todd or disagree with Todd or whatever, the spirit of that story is essentially what I believe on a broad level has been happening to MMOs over the past 20 years. Because they have to do that to sustain themselves. Because they're so expensive to develop and maintain. What was that just came up? Shoobies, thanks for the great content, WP. Your jumping puzzle videos from the beta weekend events were what got me interested. Hilarious back and forth between you and your friend. It's Magical Mike. He's still around, I think. I haven't really looked at his channel for a bit. But yeah, that's very cool, dude. I'm glad. I enjoyed that series as well. I'm nostalgic about that series. Oh, damn. Random Squid as well said, first time I remember to renew my Twitch subscription. Hope you're having a great day. I am indeed. Thank you very much, man. What's your opinion on the expansion scope? Are there enough features? How long do you want the story to be? I want the story to be like 4 times the length of Heart of Thorn story. I think it will either be the same length or slightly longer. Almost imperceptibly so. So, I mean, I'll just take whatever I can get. I wouldn't declare the expansion a failure for not hitting all of my desires, but I have quite heavy desires when it comes expressly to story. I'm a bit of a... as I admitted on yesterday's stream, I'm a tough man to please when it comes to that stuff. As for features, I don't care too much about extra features. I care about lots of content. And, well, I hope that they've done it. I'm a little worried that they haven't because the demo, I felt a bit exhausted of content a bit quickly. But hopefully that's just, you know... early jitters, and it doesn't mean anything, and I would never put that opinion out there like it's important right now, because as many people pointed out to me earlier in the week when I did a video talking about this, you know, it's not out yet, so we don't know. I think it's important that we identify expressly the things that would have been cool that obviously aren't there. But there's some of these more, like, nebulous ideas. Nebulous, is that the right word? Some of these more, hard to pin down, ill-defined concepts. Some of these we shouldn't judge until we've had a lot of hours in the game. Until we've done a lot of chewing on it. Would you rather learn Rytlock's story or not learn his story and get one more act in the expansion? I don't care, really, either. If it's an act of story and it's an act of content and world building and character development and fun stuff, I don't care what the subject material is. Whether it's in the desert or in the mist with Rytlock, don't care. They're both good. Four to 5 acts and very summer movie-like. Like always. Matthew already said an expansion is a movie and he liked the Heart of Thorns style story. And he did have a key role in it as well, so who knows? Who knows? I don't know, maybe someday we will reach the limit and only speedrun Guild Wars 2? Man, you've got no idea. Speedrunning Guild Wars 2, I've kind of wanted to breathe life into for a while. But, it's a bit tricky. Fingerlights! Good to see you, dudes! Dude, I can't believe you've stayed subbed 25 months in a row. And probably, like, the second half of those have been at time. You know, you're asleep. I'm not even streaming in your time zone anymore. That's some major dedication right there, dude. It's good to see you, man. It's nice to see Nightbot spamming stuff there as well, by the way. I felt the same when playing the beta. At one point, I felt like I had nothing left to do, but I think it's because nothing was permanent on your account. Yeah, that's going to be a part of it, right? I've been watching Dreamy Abbott Season 1. He adds a little production value and some third-party music, and I was surprised at how much more I like the story than when we went through it. The Marjorie and E stuff is interesting, and they seem to set up Morgemoth very early on. I also miss a lot of the laid-back breathing scenes we got in those earlier days. I should rewatch that. You know, despite all the... I've talked about Dreamy Abaddon's thing, and I like it, and I'm happy that it exists. I haven't watched the whole thing. I've not actually dedicated all those hours into it. If I'd just done that instead of streaming today, I'd be almost done. 25 years. I wonder who on all of Twitch... This has got nothing to do with Guild Wars. I wonder who on all of Twitch has been subbed to who for the longest. Surely there's like a bunch of people at the front run of that. When did they introduce the consecutive subscription system? If I'm joining the guild, do I need to old the older one? Leave the older one? I would rather you did. Double membership's okay for now, but it will quickly not be okay. Why do some people say the Guild Wars 2 story is terrible? Because, like any long-running product, it has ups and downs. And I think that, I don't know. Do I dare say that generally it's been worse than it's been good? Maybe. I don't know. But it's also hard to shake a bad reputation, you know? Alright, okay. Anyway. Let's keep going. Next instance. Actually, to tell you the truth, guys... Oh... We'll play to the first checkpoint. We will play to the first checkpoint. We will play, and we will play to the first checkpoint. So here we go. Because we've only got 15 minutes till the regular stream time should be up.
Isn't this such a lovely mausoleum? My favorite one, actually. Don't you like it?
Spooky. It suits you. But really, we need to get moving.
Have no fear, my dear. The entrance is just here, if you know where to look. Which I do.
Thanks to WP, I get invested in each story, but it's very cartoony, especially episode 5. Episode 5 was a very cartoony one to you? How would you quantify what you mean by cartoony? Alright, so, isn't this a lovely mausoleum? My favourite one, actually. Don't you like it? Spooky. Have no fear, my dear. The entrance is just here if you know where to look, which I do. Do we have, do we have... What are we called when we're not a female? Are we still my dear, or are we something different? Let's open this up.
Walk this way.
Walk this way! Shining Blade Secrets. And finally, we go underground. So this is huge for me. I love this moment. I'll tell you why I love this moment. It's because of this in Lake Doric, where we see the sewer pipes, and it's like a hint that we might go underground. And I've wanted to go underground for so long. I want to raid a sewer raid. You guys know that. I want to go underground for so many reasons for so long. And here we get it. We get it. It's so good. Even if it isn't sort of a totally different way than what I expected / wanted. It's still nice. We're still my dear even if we're male. That's interesting. Oh, and it's so good, isn't it? It's so ambient. It's so dark. They're so daringly, grossly black in here. And, yeah, it's pretty great. WP the sewer rat. Reminds me of the Beholders Guild in Waterdeep Dungeons and Dragons. Very scary. Yeah, I think it's awesome. I really do. Oh god, there's a lot of lore to go into on this. There is a lot of lore. Jeez Louise. Did anyone have an idea if I can sing? No, I've never sang publicly. Not even in matters of real life. I'll sing publicly when I'm in a big crowd and you can't identify my voice. And mind you, I used to sing a lot when I... like, some of the jobs I've had in the past, I've sang a lot, just openly. But whether I'm any good at it, I don't know. I've never had training. I suspect that I'm awful, like most people.
You're back. Yeah, your exemplar brought me in. I came to ask again what you plan to do.
I sing in private as well a lot, but yeah.
Karita. Yes.
Ah, that's her name, is it? We never had time for introductions.
Well, I can't tell you about the aspects. Did you ask her?
Despite rumors to the contrary, I am not dead. Stop talking about me as if I weren't here. Anise, tell her to hand over the aspect.
The commander wants to know what you plan to do with them.
I'll take the oath if that's required. But I can't entrust the aspect to you until I know it won't be misused.
You told her about the oath.
Talking about the oath won't kill me. Just telling the secrets. Besides, she wouldn't shut up about it. You're not Shining Blade. We'd never allow you to take the oath.
Actually, I think it's a wonderful idea. I can imagine no more trustworthy and useful a person to have on our side.
What?
Follow me, Commander. Allow me to introduce you to the Shining Blade's inner circle.
All right. Well, we got a lot to dig into. So first of all, Anise. I liked this moment. It set very clearly that Livia wasn't Anise, which was sort of a theory and an idea that had been floating around for a long time. So we got to remember that.
How much this is going to hurt.
It's just an oath of secrecy, right?
There's more to it than promising to keep our secrets. The magic involved requires igniting certain of your emotions.
You could die.
What do I have to do? I need to remain independent. I have an important mission to complete.
You will be an agent at large. You will have special freedoms, so long as you are not working against Kryta.
Are they going to stop speaking now? Please. Please, I have so much. You like this Dark Harvest skin even more than Twilight? I like Dark Harvest too. I think it's so cool. What's cool about this character is I sort of glow red in the dark as well, and I got red eyes and then the backpack and so on. I haven't tried Fashion Wars 2 too much, but anyway. Yeah, okay. So yeah, anyway, I like that at the start. I think that was cool. So then we hear the name Kerida. And Kerida I've been wondering about. I haven't seen really people speculating on this because it's like... It's weird that they took the time... You know that within this patch we're going to know that she's Livia, right? So it would have been easy to not have that middle name. Do you know what I mean? Like... And I mean, it would have been very easy to not have the middle name because I reckon there was probably a conversation in the writer's room where they were like, should we really add Kerida? Is that going to confuse people? Is that too many names floating around too quickly? Do we actually have enough time to get to know this character? So we get the name Kerida here, though. And Kerida is going to be used for a tiny period of time and then Livia. So with all those things working against not using Kerida... Do you guys think that there might be something more to Kerida? Like, Kerida is a name that was lifted from another character somewhere else that maybe is important or something? I don't know. Am I looking too deeply? Yeah, another hint that she's Livia right there. Despite rumors to the contrary, I'm not dead. I think when I do my video on this on YouTube, I'm going to have to lay on the line immediately. this character is Livia, because then that lets us show off as we play through all the fun ways that they foreshadow it. Not foreshadow, it's not, they just straight up hint it, right? But yeah, despite rumors to the contrary, I'm not dead. You know, that applies to Livia so thickly. Stop talking about me as if I weren't here. Hand over the aspects. The commander knows what the commander wants to know. So, how does that conversation there about the aspect being handed over, how does that tip Anise off to know about the oath? How? Because I thought the whole point... Wait, Livia already told us that she was hunting aspects down. So I don't know. Oh, no. It's because we mentioned the oath. Sorry, I'm wrong. I'm just being blonde here. I'll take the oath. Yeah. So we say I'll take the oath, and then Anissa's like, you told her about the oath? Okay. And so then they thrust upon us this idea of taking the oath, and our character does it unquestionably. So we're going to do the oath. I guess we already did the discussion as to whether this is a good or bad idea. So let's just see, by show of hands here, guys. Let's just see. Type a 1 in chat if you like that your character joined the Shining Blade. Type a 2 in chat if you didn't. Now, I will say, I actually kind of like the fact that I've joined the Shining Blade. This whole thing about the oath, I don't care much about. But just joining the Shining Blade, I always kind of wanted to be a part of the Shining Blade. Just as I wanted to be have the choice of being Ministry Guard or Seraph. That I sort of viewed those as the 3 things. So 1s or 2s. There's a lot of 2s. There are a lot of 2s. There's a hell of a lot of 2s. If I was human, I would choose 1. So look, I mean, that couldn't better demonstrate what we were discussing earlier. 1, I liked it. We were technically mantling Guild Wars 1. For a while, but we spent more time as a member affiliated with the Blade than the Mantle. The Mantle we were only with for a very brief period. The Blade we were with for like several arcs. And then it continued in Eye of the North as well. Can I do 3 if I'm impartial? No, just don't vote if you're impartial. You don't get to be a part if you don't care. How dare you, Durandal? I'm Miss Story, there is no Shining Blade. Then again, that's fine. If you RP, right, then you should just accept that the personal story is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Oh, sorry, you mean in your story journal you want it to be. I don't mind the oath because we're running out of time while Balthazar causes trouble that could end the world. Yeah? Do you think that it's just the way that this is framed then as too casual? Who wants to dispute Benji right there? Because I think that's an okay opinion. So, let's just be clear. We take this oath, this very dangerous thing, but Benji's point is, well, look, this is the only way to get to the eye. And, actually, that's not right, though. I can dispute you immediately there, Benji. Because we don't need to know what they're doing with the aspects, do we? That we could just go find more. We could we could track the eye again and hopefully find Balthazar. Finding Balthazar does not hinge upon this. We're doing this. We're taking a life or death oath so that we can know what the Shining Blade wants to do with them. And it should be quite obvious that they want them fucking destroyed and they hate the Massar. It should be quite obvious. Unless we have some deep-seated distrust in the Shining Blade, such that they have some nefarious, malicious plan for the aspects. But if we had a deep-seated mistrust for the Shining Blade, why would we sign up to this? You know, the commander isn't an idiot. Hopefully is not an idiot. Should know that the Shining Blade detests the Massar and isn't going to do anything to jeopardize the world. What do you guys think? It's all way too casual. They even make fun of Livia's actual friends being betrayed and murdered. Yeah, I think that actually the main problem with all of this, for me at least, my main problem is not sort of these sort of inconsistency things. It's just how casual it all feels. I think you're right. Shining Blade has a good pension plan, Kappa. Is that why you typed to 1 TLMs? To be honest, when I played, I was unsure if I could trust Kerida. Even if it was Livia. I don't think resing Lazarus sounded like a great idea with a god on the loose. Yeah, I think that's stupid as well. When we get to that, I think that's stupid. That's one of the things I don't like. I actually really don't like Lazarus in this plot at all. I don't. And it took me a while to really think about that, but I think I don't. To come to that conclusion, sorry. Because he wants to get information on Livia's plans. But why is that so important? We have a god on the loose. Lol, yeah, whatever, join the blade, blah, 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 throw rocks at me, blah, 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 on drugs. Okay, now for the actual problem, Balthazar. They need to explain where this death curse came from. The Shining Blade were just a bunch of renegades, not magic-bounding oath takers. I agree with that. I think that's a bit anti-Shining Blade. Inktide says the whole episode is just ham-fisted Guild Wars 1 nostalgia. I don't agree with that. I don't think it's all Guild Wars 1 nostalgia. I don't think it was all ham-fisted. I think more than other patches, though, yeah. But just because it's more so than other patches doesn't mean the entire thing was this. Have you seen the Shining Blade executive washrooms? Divine. No, I haven't seen that. That sounds hilarious. They told us it was Seer stuff. Yeah, I mean, I like the Seer influences in this patch. All right, here we go. So, oh, this whole instance is ham-fisted Guild Wars 1 nostalgia. No, man, there's a lot of good lore. When you get to the point where you can read the bookshelves and stuff, and you get the 250-year gap history of Shining Blade, and you hear about you hear about E, basically, and you hear about all that other stuff. I think that's all really cool. And Bartholos's volumes and things. I don't think any of that was ham-fisted. Do you think the written text up there was ham-fisted? I don't think so, at all. And I liked seeing the Henge of Denravi attack as well. It wasn't very good, but I liked seeing it because that's a epic part of the lore. I fucking loved the Henge of Denravi attack. And seeing it firsthand was nice. I also like one of the lines of dialogue where they quite casually infer that they've done it many times. And Anise is like, oh, I want to be this role this time. Or Livia says, I want to be Shadow this time, or whatever it was. No, they don't reveal who E is, but they put another candidate on the table. Another player in the game of E. You can't just create a problem and solve it 5 seconds later. Also, maybe they didn't add Livia with Bloodstone Fen, and maybe as an NPC you could talk with in DR before Jenna grabs absolute power. I agree with all of those. Personally, you liked the entire story instance, but just because of the aesthetic and the gameplay, I don't know how I feel about the story and the lack of roleplay, but I enjoyed the experience. I agree with that as well, Jules, wholeheartedly. All right, let's go up, guys.
Exemplars, your attention. I bring before you one who wishes to take the oath of confidence and support the Shining Blade. In the interest of expediency, are there any among you who do not know who she is?
Look at all this feedback coming in chat right now.
It appears your reputation precedes you, Commander. Let us begin. Within the holy light of the Shining Blade, I call this gathering to order. Blessings on Kryta and on Queen Jenna.
Blessings on Kryta and Queen Jenna.
Exemplar Mahid, would you lead us, please?
It would be my honor. Commander, do you freely submit yourself to be cast into the fires of the Blacksmith's Forge?
I do.
My fellow Exemplars, will any among you speak out against this petitioner?
I will. Never before has a non-human supplicant taken this oath.
Hear me. I vouch, personally, for her honor and sincerity. I have watched her for many years.
You've what?
I've seen her do great deeds, and I know the many sacrifices she's made to defend Tyria. I have witnessed her integrity. At a time when elder dragons endanger the whole world, Kryta must make uncommon allies. I trust this defender of Tyria.
I remember...
Drastic times do call for drastic measures. I withdraw my objection.
Anyone else? No? Then let us proceed.
There's too much to say. This is absolutely mental.
Brothers and sisters, I ask you, how is the petitioner softened to our cause?
By the tempering of her metal.
How is the petitioner judged for steadfast integrity?
By the quenching of her metal.
How is the petitioner tested for resolve?
By the shaping of her metal. We are the enemies of the Shining Blade. You will reveal all their secrets to us.
You will, or your life is forfeit.
Then I will take my sincerity to my grave. You are wrong.
I have to be honest, there's so much going on. I don't even know how to unpack this for you. It's just on rails here. It's
Prepare
not
to
stopping.
Experience a dark moment in our history.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this so that we can stop and we can actually talk about the goddamn stuff. All right, cutscene. I will be honest. I laughed at that cutscene well, internally I laughed because it would have been very rude to do it out loud. But the thing with the rocks I found really quite funny. Like just suddenly coming out of nowhere, like not malicious, not meanly laughed, not cruelly laughed. I just genuinely, I got caught by surprise and it made me laugh. I was like, Jesus Christ, these rocks just destroyed us. Yeah, that did tickle me. And when I played it in privacy later, I more outwardly laughed as well. I actually found that quite funny. Yeah, the cutscene's weird because I really like that they put the effort in to do the cutscene, you know? It would have been easy to just not have that there at all. But it seems that because they put it there, but they didn't quite hit the bar for what they wanted to do. Because all they had was old animations, old assets, and you know, nothing bespoke for it that they put together. And I really like the attempt. I really like the effort. And I think that the patch... So let's all just stop for a second and imagine a world where that cutscene isn't there. Is the instance better or worse? You know, it's not replaced with anything. It's just that it's not there. And I think that just about the instance is better for having the cutscene. And I like that the cutscene's there. It's not a great cutscene, but I like that it's there. You know, it would have been nicer to be better, but... There you have it. So I think it's okay, and I'm not furious about it or anything. But yeah, I sort of feel bad when people laugh at stuff like that because it's like, look, they clearly put a lot of effort into it. I don't know whether that's right of me though. But yeah, so anyway, there's that, and then there's also all this other dialogue as well, right? So a couple of characters there from the personal story. Who are straight up rude to you, I think. They picked one of the worst characters. Salia, I think, is from the personal story, who, if you picked a certain branch, you would know as a human, and she's just mean to you. She's just straight up mean. So I'm not actually sure about this. So let's be clear. If you play as a Norn, if you play as a Char, if you play as an Asura, or if you play as a Sylvari, if you play any of these races, when Anise asks, does anybody have any objections? Salia will always say, if you're any of those races, I have an objection. Never before has a non-human supplicant taken this oath. To which Anise will quench that criticism and say she's watched you for many years. They'll interject with that little joke there. You what? We say that it's a drastic time. And Mehid says, all right, no, okay, let's do it then. Right? So that happens if you play any race. If you play as a human... You also get a bit of dissent, but it's not that you're a non-human. It's that, you know, you're not a prominent enough character or whatever I think it is. I can't remember. So there is alternate dialogue. If you are playing a human, you do get a slightly different voice line there. However, what I'm wondering is the character that expresses that dissent, I'm pretty sure, is a character you personally interact with in the Order of Whispers storyline. In the personal story. So there is a story, if you're a human, you can do a story where you never knew your parents and you find out they were members of the Shining Blade and you team up with 2 current Shining Blade members to track them down and so on. And you end up revealing the truth at the end. That is who expresses this discontent here. So I'm wondering, the devs either did something really cool here or something really bad here. Does anybody in chat know if you play a human that did that express story where you met these Shining Blade characters because you never knew your parent, if you did that, do you get an actually positive line? Does nobody express any discontent at all? Do they all say, do you know what? No, you've been hooked with a Shining Blade for a long time. Fuck it, you're in. That would be super cool. If that's what they did, if you were playing a human that was integrally tied to the Shining Blade the whole time, that would be really cool. And even better points if you do the Demi Beetlestone stuff a little bit later, right? That would be in the Order of Whispers. That would be super cool. Did they do that? Or is it always Salia being a bitch, basically? So, and in the case that they didn't do that, I think that was really stupid. I think they can put that line there, but why did they have to attach it to a character we'd met before? If I'm playing an Order of Whispers, if I'm playing a human that never knew her parents, I should not have Salia spit at me. Because they put Salia there as a reference back to the personal story, thus building bridges and tying this all together and making it feel like a cohesive narrative. They did that. That's a good thing. But then they sort of immediately ruin the bridge they built by having that character speak out of character. So it's like the points they scored, they instantly just shot themselves in the foot. And it was literally just because they put the dialogue on the wrong NPC. They could have had that come out of any other NPC there. They could have invented a new, out of thin air, Shining Blade NPC that was a female that said that. And hell, that would have been a good idea, because one of my other things that I didn't quite like about that scene is there are too few NPCs there. It feels like some shitty little sorority or whatever, right? And it needs to be, it doesn't feel like this grand organization. And maybe they wanted it to be sort of like a closed circle at the top, I guess. But if it was going to be a closed circle at the top, why are these random two random grunts we met in the personal story there? So it's kind of like that 10-2 thing, where in Final Fantasy 10-2, it's all the same characters reappearing and they don't expand enough. So comments on comments on comments. I think the descent line is there to account for the non-human aspect. So, yeah, okay, so, and now let's take it up a level. Partial Eclipse is right in chat there. Obviously, none of this really matters. All the devs really want to do is they just want to get the line. They just want to get the line in on there that comes up next. And they talk about uncommon allies. I remember in the trailer that totally threw me off. I thought the uncommon allies thing was going to refer to the Scepter of Ore and teaming up with the undeads and all the, and none of that was true. It's actually amazing to me, because in the trailer analysis for this patch, I guessed that Livia was going to be in the patch, and it was based on genuinely very little information. And of that little information, like this line, because I thought Scepter of Ore, Livia, uncommon allies, that was my through line. That's what I thought. It led me to guessing Livia, which ended up correct, but for all the wrong reasons, because none of this was actually mattered. Uncommon allies is actually referring to us, and it's a bit of a weird line, honestly, because like, what, Sylvari uncommon allies? But Sylvari ally to the Shining Blade is uncommon, I would say. Somebody criticized that in chat earlier, and I think you're wrong to say that they're not uncommon allies. They are uncommon allies for the Shining Blade. Shining Blade is all human-based. It's a human organization. It would be uncommon for them to invite a Norn, and it would be uncommon for them to invite a Charin or a Sylvari. And I think it's actually really important that they have that line there, because it would have felt even what people, they have that line there, and people are still complaining that it doesn't feel like a natural fit. Right? But at least that line's there. If that line wasn't even there, it'd be even worse, I think. Unless we're in some weird situation where, because that line's there, it caused the audience to engage their brain, and now they realize how it feels weird. But if the devs have taken the easy way out and not even addressed the elephant in the room, a lot of people would have coasted along without ever thinking about it. So I don't know, maybe they did more damage by bringing it up than otherwise. But I respect them for bringing it up, and I'll say that much. You should do a stream where you watch old speculation videos you have made and talk about what was right and wrong. That would be quite interesting. That would be quite interesting. There's still no excuse, and let's be honest, they probably forgot about the trailer. What do you mean forgot, /5? You realise just because we saw the trailer before the patch comes out, that doesn't mean that the patch was made after the trailer came out too. You realise that, right? You realise that it wasn't a developer that made the trailer, but it was someone in, production, right? And, there's really... that's kind of an insane thing to say right there. The content is not beholden to the trailers. Yeah? Not really. I mean, to an extent. But if that lineup doesn't work, it's not the game's fault. It's the trailer's fault. Because the trailer came secondary to the game. But WP is never wrong, right? Oh, my speculation stuff? I'm never wrong? Dude, I'm wrong far more than I'm right. The thing is, like, I don't try and predict the future. That's not what I've ever done. I just explore possible places we can go. And it means that, yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. Most of them won't happen. Do you accept precursors as a guild entrance? Or do you want it in the form of other items? A precursor? Jesus Christ. Yeah, but I don't know what we do. You realize we would just sell that to then become materials for buildings. Or maybe we could do an epic giveaway if you want. Unless it's like an underwater one, in which case it's not very exciting. God, look at me looking gift horse in the mouth there. If you're going to do that, that's crazy. And what I will do is, after this stream, I will save the mails of the really interesting things we've been given to share with everyone on Saturday coming up. To be fair, Timey might have overheard the whole oath and what happened via the comm device. Yeah, there's a bit of a weird thing with Timey later as well, isn't there? The oath might have come from the situation with Marcus in the first game, and so they can feel safe with secrets. Thoughts? Abnormal 4K, that's so cool. Alright, so people that don't know, the leaders of the Shining Blade, right, they were triumvirate leaders initially. And none of that's there in Guild Wars 2 anymore, which I think is a shame, because I find that an interesting element of the Shining Blade in GW1. But one of the leaders was killed. Another leader betrayed them. He knew all their deepest secrets, and he betrayed them. A man named Marcus. He's actually modeled to look after Mike O'Brien, which is quite funny. And you can see a bald guy in this patch we're about to play, which is, I guess, based on a guy, based on him. So yeah, Marcus betrayed them all. So this idea of the oath, what if that was created because of this great betrayal and a stopgap, and it was a decision made to prevent things like that from happening again? You know, because if that oath had existed and Marcus had betrayed the location of the Henge of Den Ravi back then, he would have instantly died on the spot, you know? I think that's all a cool idea, but as great as a theory it is, the game needs to substantiate it before he gets a free pass. Oh, okay, one of the scrolls in the instance says explicitly there it was. Well, there you go then. Fuck. Lol. There you go, that's it. That's excellent then. I'm well glad that the devs wrote that in. I didn't realise that. Is that genuinely in there? One of the scrolls explicitly states it is? That is super cool. That's funny. Well, there you have it. Yeah, I think that's great then. That's an awesome story piece. That justifies it super well. Who could complain about that? That's cool. Good job, ArenaNet. Well done. You have to go and explore after the instance, but yeah, it is there. I think that's fine. Anyone engaging in these discussions to some extent should do this. Anyway, so let's rewatch this.
I ask you, how is the petitioner softened to our cause?
By the tempering of her metal.
The oath is the cornerstone of Shining Blade security and is required of all members beyond the rank of recruit. No other shall betray us as Marcus did. Nice. By the quenching of her metal. Oh, there's another thing I don't quite like about this. When they have all the crowd speak in unison. Do you hear that?
We are the enemies of the Shining Blade. You will reveal all their secrets to us.
You will, or your life is forfeit.
When they have the crowd speak in unison, in real life, when crowds speak in unison, everyone's voices first start off a bit distinct, but towards the end of the sentence or the song or the whatever, people get a feeling for where everyone else is speaking, and they all end up in unison by the end of the sentence. And that never happens here, which has always disappointed me a bit. But yeah, anyway.
History. This will birth empathy in your heart. For the Shining Blade.
Fight like your life depends on it. And stay alive as long as you can.
I'm playing Kira this time. You be Shadow for once.
Fine.
Ahem. Welcome, members of the Shining Blade, to the Henge of Den Ravi, our sanctuary from the White Mantle.
Yes. Welcome to our headquarters, where we make all our critical battle plans.
Behold, my White Mantle friends. It's the Shining Blade, just as I promised.
Marcus, what dastardly betrayal is this? You sold us out to the White Mantle? How could you?
I will slit your traitorous throat. To arms! Kira, get reinforcements. We'll hold the mantle off long enough for you to get away. Go!
No, Shadow. You go. You know too much. You cannot be captured. Once you are away, you will follow.
So Shadow runs off here, and Shadow appears in the later stories, the actual Warring Crier. I think she doesn't. Yeah, and she's got Carlotta. She actually appears on the Fire Island chain and stuff as well. So I've got to say, guys, I really love this. I think this is absolutely fantastic. And I think that it demonstrates some real enthusiasm and passion and understanding for the franchise from the devs. So to any Guild Wars 2 player, this is just a fun little moment where we do an interesting thing. And we do get a bit of the Shining Blade's history. But when you look at the way that this franchise has been developed, but I'm using that word so much lately. When you look at Guild Wars 1, okay, this event that occurred in Guild Wars 1, it happened off screen, and it happened in like a really flippant way that was pretty tacky, to be honest. And it was just basically like, oh yeah, everybody died, yeah, okay, oh, Marcus is a bad guy, go kill him, right? And it was kind of naff, but it was one of those things that, you know, as naff as they presented it and did it, and as like offhandedly it had been mentioned, and you know, we didn't even see it as players. The attack on the Henge of Den Ravi, we didn't even see it as players. We didn't see it because Guild Wars 1 Prophecies was more preoccupied with forcing us around on a world tour than actually telling a proper story. That's the God's honest truth of it. Prophecies narrative and its campaign and stuff, that only existed to shift us around the world map. And if at any point the story started looking backwards, such as to the Henge of Den Ravi, the devs were very hand-wavy about it, and they didn't emphasize it, and they just were like, ignore that. Everyone died at the Henge of Den Ravi. We're in the Shiver Peaks now. Don't worry about it. Go, 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 go. There was a big betrayal. Kill this guy. Now go Fire Island Chain. That was Prophecies. Prophecies wasn't that good. But if you really looked at the whole story, and you ignored how sort of crappily the campaign did it, that was actually such a fun part of the story. The betrayal and the death of all these people who had built a sanctuary in the forest, all these guys that had died. It was this really grim, like, part of the story that I always really liked, and it happened off camera. We didn't get to see it, but it was so fun. And like, to really remember, the amount of people who recall that the Henge of Den Ravi got attacked is really not that high, right? And especially during the Guild Wars 1 days, people started caring more about this way later. Most people wouldn't have been able to tell you that the Henge of Den Ravi got attacked, especially because from a gamer's perspective, right? If you were a Guild Wars 1 player, the fact that Henge of Den Ravi was attacked was never properly unveiled to you. A, because the event itself was never depicted, but B, because you could always just waypoint back to that town, and it was as if nothing had ever happened. There was even a Titan quest based out of that town that only vaguely sort of alluded. So it's like, as an MMO and as like a social game and whatever, like, so few people gave a shit or cared. Like, it was so buried, right? And in a world where people only ever cared about skipping the cutscenes. So, that was years ago. So now to have this patch in 2017, where in the writing room, they have still remembered and identified that even though this was a weird, like, odd thing about the franchise, that this was actually fucking awesome. That they've identified that this was a cool part of the story, and they wanted to go back into it, and that they wanted to explore it in a recent Living World patch, and that they wanted to give that to the 2017 player base. That identification that this would be something cool to do, the fact that they figured that out, I think is amazing. And that is a real demonstration right there that there's some genuine passion and understanding for what is cool about this game's story, right? That to really understand, like, you genuinely had to know stuff. And so I love this. I love getting the Henge of Den. It doesn't even matter how good or bad it was depicted here in Guild Wars 2. The fact they identified it was cool to depict, right? That's what's awesome, and they get my respect for that. I like this. I think this is so cool. I'm really happy we got to see it. And I like the way they handle the dialogue in here as well. The idea that they've been doing it a lot. It's been their rituals. I like the way that the engine ports all these plants and stuff in. Like, watch when this ends. Watch when we die. Ready? Look at them all vanish. I love the way that the engine functions here. I think it's great. What a cool idea. Come at me, Twitch chat. Tell me that this is bad, because it's not.
The White Mantle dogs have killed us all. I hope Shadow got away.
So much death.
I mean, that's bad. But yeah, someone said I remember it because the lore series you did, WP. We're gonna leave it there, by the way, guys. We're gonna leave it there. Someone said I remember it because of the lore series that you did, WP. And yeah, you know, the reason I enjoyed that lore series because it was because of the attack on Den Ravi. Elements of the lore like that, parts of the story like that were really fun and cool, but no one had ever identified or dug into or genuinely recognized because it was just so poorly given to us. That's why that lore series was so fun to do, because it was repackaging those events in a way that people could understand and would remember and did do justice to them. And that was one of the most fun things for me to script stuff like that, right? So you're goddamn right I like seeing that in 2017. Even if it's only sort of just shoehorned in there. I think it was good. Alright. I got a donation as well. Wow, £3 from Baron TV1. Thank you, Baron. Do you think NG turrets could be more viable in... What a crazy... What was it about what I was saying during that mission that made you think about NG turrets? That's the magic of MMOs, isn't it? We can be going on and on and on, and then all of a sudden have a question like this out of the blue. Do you think engineer turrets should be viable in all game types if they used an ammo mechanic? I'm imagining setting up a crossfire with 2 rifle turrets. Sure, maybe. With stuff like that, to me, it's about a comparison of how they feel versus other minion-y type things and rev spirits and stuff. As long as they're distinct, I don't really care. Bring back the turret form. Maybe he has turrets syndrome. Anyway, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for the £3. That's lovely of you. Chop those pandas says, what type of legendary do you want to have for the next Gen 2 legendary? Greatsword, I think. Right? Greatsword we're waiting for. So yeah, I'm gonna basically end the stream there, guys. Thanks very much for watching. It's been about 2.5 hours. If anyone's got any questions they want to talk about right here, right now, I will do my best. If you've been desperate for an answer in something, you spammed it in chat and I've missed it. Right now, all I'm doing is looking at a chat. So post it. I will try and answer very quickly. I'll give about 5 minutes for that. Also, can I just remind you guys, we have an epic, awesome competition. I'd love you guys to go look at entries for that on the Wooden Potatoes website. We've got a reshade competition that I'm going to be giving away. I was going to do that on this stream. I'll give away the prizes to that at some point very soon, I hope. We got a reshade competition. You want to get in on that, do that quickly. What else have we got? Spud Club 2 is open. If you guys want to join a thriving, fun, new community, please, we're always looking for more friendly faces. People who use chat, people who get in voice comms and stuff. I would really, really love you guys to do that. So check out Discord, guys. Click that. You don't need an account. You don't need to download anything. You don't need it. You just click the link and boom, you're in a community of fellow Spuds. So there you go. Those are the plugs I think I should give. Lottery as well. The lottery opened and I've hardly talked about it. If you want to win 878 Ectos, feel free to join in on our lottery. We'll do a big grand giveaway. You don't have to be present at any stream. You can do that right here, right now. And in about a week or... well, I don't know. At some point in the future, you will all of a sudden have thousands of Ectos given to you in a mail. So that's a fun thing we do too. All right, people's questions. Let's see. Do you think the Path of Fire story will be different to human characters like Heart of Thorns was for Sylvari? I hope so, and I'd really like to see it. I don't know that. I don't know so though. What do you think about there being a literal Shining Blade? I actually really detested it, and detest is too strong. I didn't like it. I wasn't on board until the Seer lore came in, and at that point, I'm actually quite intrigued by it. I think they may have jumped the gun making it an acquirable legendary until we get more backstory on the Seers giving it to them, but yeah. You want an elite spec about turrets? Me too. I think that's cool. You found a bandit named Deadeye Darla with a rifle. Human level story 10 common folk. Oh, so you're saying Deadeye. Yeah. Am I going to host someone? What? I don't even know how many views we've got. Yeah, this is quite a lot of views actually. We'll host someone. I think Lazarus Balthazar reveal would have been cheap if they didn't bring closure in episode 6. I'm glad they brought him back. That's quite contrary to me. I didn't think he needed anything further. I quite like mystery though. You know, it's the same reason why I kind of don't want to see Livia explicitly come into the story. I would have loved the thought that all these things had happened around Lazarus, and he's that terrifying and he's that scary and he's got that, you know, and the dude's genuinely dead and gone and he didn't even do anything. That's the kind of ripples he can cause across Tyria. You know, he's not even doing anything anymore, and 250 years later, people are scrambling around his remains and creating all these crazy things going on. And I like the idea of him being still sort of this big mysterious guy in the background. I think that would have all been cool. That would have appealed to me. The fact we eventually did see him anyway and kill him anyway, it really took a lot of the magic away from the story for me. Please, when are contest entries getting updated? Haven't in a few days. I guess if Welk hasn't done any, I will try and go through and do some. You sent me Ecto for the Spud too, and the invite got voided. Yeah, if you resend, you should be able to get in. I'm sorry about that. That was the game that voided them all, and I've got no way of verifying. What do you think about... I'm scrolled up, and now I'm scrolling back down. Curious, WP, have you done the Anomaly achievement, the old Alexander's one? Yes, we did that on a stream as well. I'm done with that. All I need is 4 more AB metas, and then I'm done. 5 more. We didn't get the one earlier on the stream. What do you think... oh, God, you've asked that question a lot of times, Yuendel. Scroll. If I could get a job writing at ArenaNet, writing the story, would I? I don't know. I have a very low opinion of my own talent. I know what I like. I don't know whether I can produce what I like. That's all I'll say. If I were ever to work there, I'd much rather work on revamping existing stuff in the game than paving new content. And we know that philosophically they don't like to do that at the moment. Question, what's my favourite elite spec from Heart of Thorns? Didn't you ask me that already? I don't know. It's hard to say favourites. Depends on builds and current metas and all that stuff. If I made story, who would critique it? Those who care. Whoever they are. And I'm not the only one that cares. I'll say that much. Alright, let's find someone to host. And let's leave it there before this gets all weird and arrogant. And people think I actually think I deserve a job at ArenaNet, which I certainly don't. Oh god, I kind of want to do Doc Got Game. I haven't done Doc for a while. I kind of want to do Licky as well. I haven't done her for a while. She was always fun to host. I kind of want to do a totally new person too. I guess we should stick with our thing and always just do totally new people, right? Oh, I see a grill. There is a grill on Twitch. We haven't done a girl for a while. Aurora and Legendary Armor collections. Someone's giving away $75. Jesus. Story missions. Been 3 years, forgot everything, fresh start. Oh, I like the sound of that. 0 viewers. There's a lot of people I want to host. The Twitch scene right now is pretty good, guys. There's some cool guys streaming right now. You should, if you're not going to give a crap about my host, you should go watch them. But yeah, so let's watch this guy. He's playing the game. He's got a face cam. He looks cool. I'll be in his chat. Let's bomb him and scare the crap out of him with a massive audience. That'll be fun, right? Yeah, I think so. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I'd love to see you in Discord. And I'll see you shortly. I also have a video up on YouTube, just FYI. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's host.